Hello, hello, Dr. Brett Spradlin here. We are live streaming. We are recording for posterity. It is October 7th, 2024. We have a class called How to Avoid the ER. This is part 2. Part 1 was almost a year ago to the day, and this is part 2. So is there anybody in this room that wants to learn anything? Yes. Okay, great. Now, let's get right into this. Divine design catalyzing statement. Why do we do what we do? Right here it is. In the sacred service of saving lives ahead of time, or in the case of Tracy, stacking sats ahead of time, we are fearlessly freeing billions of beings through all natural biblical health care. Yes, biblical health. We're almost to the billion mark. Just kidding. Moving on. We'll go to the website here. I want to show you a couple things because while Jonathan's getting that all set up, I was putting this class together and it occurred to me, this is DDNH. You know how we number everything with the numbers so that people can dial into the right classes that they need to watch. This is number 200. Divine Design Natural Health, number 200. So I want Jonathan to go over to, go to the website, go to patient info, just FYI. We've never put this on film before, on camera. I don't know why. But if we go over to patient information, you see the new patient stuff, the patient portal stuff, the FAQs, and the videos. Go down to videos. This is where you can find everything, right here. The title, the date, the title, DDNH 199, title, Snake in the Vein. That was the one we did a couple weeks ago about all the injectable peptide stuff you're hearing about, AKA Ozempic and all this. And then all the platforms that we're on, you can go pick your favorite platform. Our stuff's everywhere. So you can go and find all of that. I wanted to show you that. Now, go back to the patient stuff, the patient info stuff. Go down to new patients. This is how you become new patients. Everybody watching on currently on Facebook, but after this, everything goes to Brighteon and BitChute and Rumble and Odyssey and all that stuff. How do I become a patient? This is stuff that we just, we redid this about 6 or 8 months ago, I think. Step 1, you got to be teachable, be resourceful, be committed. Step 2, decide your level of commitment. Do you want to go bronze? Do you want to go scroll down a little bit, Jonathan? Do you want to go bronze? Do you want to go silver? Do you want to go gold? Gold is me. Gold is you get everything. Silver is just you kind of wade into the waters and you do some standard process and MediHerb and you're doing detox. Bronze is you're doing half the amount of detox and you just have access to standard process. Very simple. But go right here real quick, Jonathan. Click here for the details of what is included in each program. I just want to show everybody this because all there are a lot of people who have been grandfathered in, and so they've escaped the wrath of all of this. And then there are a lot of newbies that have questions that need to be answered on this. So just click here, please, right above step 3. And here is the breakdown of here's gold, here's silver, and here's bronze. So that's everything that we, if you want the whole, scroll out a little bit. There you go. And so that's all the gold stuff, the silver stuff, the bronze stuff. We did this kind of, I don't even remember. It was Memorial Day. It was over Memorial Day weekend that we finally pounded all this out. And this was in an effort to kind of make things a little bit more accessible to people as they are being absolutely pummeled and impoverished by their own government and by the debasement of their own currency. So we tried to make things a little bit more approachable for people so they can still get the help that they want, still get a little bit more help, and then here's the whole kit and caboodle thrown at them. And we understand this is a little bit more than what some people are bargaining for. If they want it, they want it. If they don't, they don't. Your mic just died? Yeah. Are you kidding? Okay, more batteries? Were those? Those were brand new. Oh, no, it's red. Crap. Okay, more batteries. How can those possibly be dead? More batteries. Yeah. So, okay, you guys aren't getting out of here till 12:30.
You feed a midnight snack?
That's right.
You might need a supplement.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Midnight
right.
flavor
Protein shake.
snack.
That's why we got the bag.
That's right. That'll hold us over.
What, you brought food? Is that what you said?
Twinkies.
Handheld. Can you I'll wait for you. And the so gold, silver, bronze, yeah. And then go back to nope. Go back to the website, please. I want you to see this. The last but not least, go back. Just back to the website. Last but not least, on the website, step 3, schedule an interview. Step 4, complete the paperwork. Step 5, do the gold program, blah, blah, blah. But here is, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Scroll down. No, go. Oh, it's in the FAQs. Never mind. We'll move on. Forget that. But the last thing I want to show you is this puppy right here. Oh, Sandrita, do you want to come up and model this for me while you model your shirt? You can stand up and you can turn the pages for me. That'd be great. Just flip it like Vanna White. That's great. So there's the Divine Design Academy. This we rolled out about a year ago, and this has 8 video modules in it. Open up to the front page here. So 8 video modules right here. What do I eat? You're full of it. That's the water class. What's in those supplements? That's what's in the supplements. You're so filthy. That's all the poisons and things that we try to help people understand what to do with. The greatest healing profession the world's ever known. That's the chiropractic class. So at the very beginning, this is module 1, and this walks everybody through. This is why we do what we do, and this is how we're disseminating all this information to you over a very short amount of time in videos you can watch while you're driving, while you're eating, while you're mowing the lawn, while you're taking a shower, whatever. Stress the death cascade, that explains every disease from top to bottom in about 10 minutes. Every disease you've heard of. It's crazy. Lies Doctors Tell Part 5, and then the most evil substance in the world. So this is module 1. Thank you very much. And turn around and show everybody that shirt one more time. Look at that shirt. Look at what a shirt right there. And so this is module 1, Divine Design Academy. There's also module 2, module 3, module 4. So you can educate yourself very quickly. I just wanted to show everybody that. One announcement, too. Tonight, starting tonight, pay attention because you get 10% off all of your standard process and MediHerb supplements mentioned by name in your printables, which when you came in here, you should have all gotten a little 10-page stack of printables. This is our 200 DDNH 200 gift to you. So, and that deal is available until October 17th. Okay? All the exclusions are just on the PMG products, but everything else, standard process MediHerb, you get 10% off. And let me know when you figure out that microphone. Or is it, oh yeah, okay. All right, so bonuses. There's a bonus too. We're gonna talk about, this is the last announcement. If you want, we're putting together a little Shizzle Hits the Fizzle list for people that we kind of did a long time ago, but nobody really, I don't think we handed out the list. But it's a list of all the stuff that you might need for when stuff goes sideways. So if you are interested in kind of a survival list of things that you or your family might need, we can put that together for you. There's a lot of stuff on there you're never going to hear anywhere else. And it's not just supplements and things like that. It's just how to get through the zombie apocalypse that's surely approaching. Okay, is that enough announcements for everybody? Okay, well here, I'm going to take this off. Is that dead? Or is it good? It's dead. It's completely dead? The microphone just died. Perfect. Welcome to Divine Design Natural Health, number 200. Perfect. Okay, folks, so we're going to get through this. Previous Divine Design, well, first of all, the first printable you have is previous Divine Design Natural Health classes, events that have to do with this, where you'll find little bits and pieces of everything we talk about. You can do that on your own time. That's your printable number 1. I wanted to share that with you. That's the number 1 printable. Can you make sure everybody in this class gets a printable sheet, Heidi? So make sure that you have all your printables. The first thing we're going to do is talk about, tonight we'll discuss, the first thing is the meaning of life, particularly in a shizzle hits the fizzle scenario or a crap hitting the fan scenario. Number 2, why should you know all this? And then number 3, what are my credentials in telling you this? Why should you listen to what I'm saying? Number 4, American disease and simple tube physiology. You're never going to hear this anywhere else, I can assure you. How would we treat your emergency? I get this question all the time. What if I break a bone? I'm going to show you tonight. Real world examples of emergency situations that we have dealt with. Number 7, most expensive medical procedures and how to avoid them. You're really going to want to hear that. Number 8, the most popular commercially available supplements. make sure to not ever get any of these. And that goes right to your question that you had a little while ago. Number 9, points of interest regarding standard process. Why should you care? Number 10, why you think most people go to the ER. And then number 11 is why they really go to the ER. So if I could make a case for not every emergency really being an emergency, then maybe you shouldn't need to have as much fear as we've all been taught that we need to have about emergency rooms. Because what if there aren't that many accidents that you really need to worry about? And then we're going to go into a little bit of a shocking review from part 1, the 2021 and 2022 ER statistics for the whole entire United States and why you should not be in fear. How about that? How about if we just get rid of the fear, replace it with faith, and say, hey, don't do anything stupid, but in the meantime, if you do, we're here to help you, right? Number 12, what do we have for EMS statistics as far as Bradley County goes? That's a little throwback from the first class, but it bears repeating. Number 13, top 21 U.S. medicine cabinet products and how to replace them with natural solutions that will not kill you. How many of you want to know that? Right on. Number 14, the fastest acting 14 supplements in the Divine Design Arsenal, and that happens to be number 14. We didn't plan on that. That just worked out, right? Number 15, overview of top essential oils for emergencies. Number 16, an edited review of the protocols that we never, ever suggest. What does that mean? Well, we don't really do protocols in this office, but if you want a few things to be able to help with a sore throat or an infection that you have, yeah, there's a lot of stuff we can do. Okay, how's that sound? And then number 17, other fast aid solutions. Number 18, 22 SP PMGs, protomorphogens for organ support. You might want to know what those are. Nobody else does them. Number 19 is top MediHerb emergency solutions. And then you guys ready to get started? You think it's going to be a long night? Not if I go fast. The most important aspect of life in a grid down, well, a lot of people will call it different stuff, without rule of law, shizzle hits the fizzle, the end of the world as we know it, pronounced Teotihuacan in the Navajo tongue. Just kidding. Teotihuacan. The end of the world as we know it, not to be confused with an REM song. But the top 3 things that you have to know. Know who put you here, know why he put you here, and then know where you're going to go when you're no longer here, because you're going to spend a lot longer dead than you'll ever be alive. Can I get an amen on that? Amen. Anybody who's ever driven past a cemetery should have figured that one out by now. So that is the most important thing. And, I'll just say it right now. I've been in practice well over 10 years now, and I have never in all of my life imagined that I would hear so many people unnecessarily dying in strange ways in such a short amount of time over the last 3 years. I just have to say that. The medical doctors are baffled. We know what's happening, and you all that are watching and that are here probably know what's happening too. But, oh yeah, kill your phones. Kill your phones or I get to answer them. And it reminds me of when, I don't know if you've all seen this great movie, it's called Pirates of the Caribbean. And there's this young girl and she's talking to this pirate ghost. And the pirate ghost, is real scary. And the pirate ghost is getting ready to walk into the moonlight. And as the moonlight hits the pirate ghost, his flesh disappears and he turns into a skeleton. And so she's saying, well, I don't believe in ghost stories. And the pirate says, "Arr, Missy, you best start believing in ghost stories. You're in one." You remember that part? Barbosa? Yeah. You're in one. You best start believing in ghost stories. Even if you don't like it, guess what? You're in the middle of Revelation right now. You're in the middle of the book of Revelation, whether you like it or not. So you best start believing in ghost stories. You're in one. Moving on. Why you should know this? Well, I want you to have access to your own apothecary of supplements, herbs, oils, and emergency skills, right? And the emergency skills aspect of it is that whole list that I told you. If you want, sign up for it at the front desk. We're not just giving it out willy-nilly. But I want you to be able to use supplements, herbs, oils, all the stuff God gave us, right? He's not creating anything else, is he? Are there any new animals or new plants coming out? Which means he already planned for everything, which means he's already given us everything he's going to give us as far as plants and animals go, right? So that means that we should be sufficient. And that means that nothing that an atheist can cook up in a laboratory can beat that, right? Your doctors, your school, your medias, even your churches, unfortunately, are not teaching any type of health or economic preparedness. The health aspect is what we do here at Divine Design. The economic preparedness is what we do with teaching people about what's going on with the Federal Reserve and the inflation. You do not want to take shelter in the medical house of cards with dependence upon CPAPs for your spouse and inhalers for your kids and insulin for yourself, right? Nobody wants that. This is weird, talking like a game show host. And we don't have any other belt packs? Okay. Well, we'll just roll with it. That's what improvisation is. Next. So, and I wanted to say, yeah, by the way, this is number 200. Jonathan, you've been with us since number 98. Did you know that? Number 98, yeah, good job. So Jonathan, everybody give Jonathan a round of applause. He's been hearing my voice in his dreams for 102 episodes now. It's so nice. Yeah, he loves me so much. But American healthcare is a raging gasoline dumpster fire. Emergency medicine is the most respectable part of all of it, but we're going to try to teach you to that not every official emergency is an actual emergency. Next. Don't do silly things to put yourself in harm's way. Do what your levels of experience and faith allow. Every vessel moves at its own pace. So if your thing is, that you feel really comfortable on a skateboard on top of a moving car and you don't mind broken wrists and ankles, then that's your level of faith. I, for one, I think I'm done with those days. But if that's what you choose to do, hey, if you've got the faith to do it, go ahead and do it. You do you, right? Let's keep going. 3 years ago, your doctors and politicians wanted you in a FEMA camp for not lethally injecting yourself. And today, everybody's forgotten about it, and they're getting procedures and medications from the same doctors that were trying to kill them 3 years ago. Your friends and family, same thing. I hear it every day. Now, why was it that I thought a few minutes ago, I was saying, I've never seen so many people dying? You can argue all you want, but the proof is right there. And people were saying it 4 years ago, trying to tell everybody. If you love drugs, surgeries, and vaccines, we hope you have your affairs in order. This may not be the office for you. That's fine. The world has officially changed, and we are trying to fight to keep people alive and out of the meat grinder. If you eat a bunch of crap and take and drink a bunch of crap, please do not expect miracles. You're responsible for taking care of yourself and for dictating the health care that you desire. How many people know you're in charge of your health care? Not some doctor. You can tell them you want it or you don't want it, right? Try desperately not to be a burden to others because of your own neglect. How many guys do this all day long? So, well, I don't know. Well, I got a shoulder injury from 87, and I'll just grin and bear it. And then they become a problem for their wife and their kids because now somebody's got to stay home to take care of him, right? I see it all day long. The events of the last 4 years, along with RFK's public revelations on the chronic disease epidemic in the U.S. have done a lot to expose our entire country to the fact that processed food companies are slowly poisoning us for profit. I'm not an RFK fan. I think he's a good guy. He's actually a lawyer that I probably wouldn't mind hanging out with and maybe talking to for a little bit, which is strange. Did I just say that? But he's actually at least got his head wrapped around this whole vaccine thing and the food thing and the chemicals in the environment thing. And he's bringing that to the forefront that nobody has in decades. And so people are starting to talk about this because, you see his stuff all over the place, right? So if you're on psych meds, why would you want to know this? More reasons. If you're on a bunch of stuff, you may want to consider what happens if you can't get your poisons. And if you try to do a cold turkey withdrawal thing, you might have a nuclear meltdown. Next. The United Abominations, the World Hoax Organization, the Centers for Disease Creation, the National Embarrassments of Health, and the World Economic Forum, led by this guy, and this guy. I won't even say their names. And multiple world governments have openly publicized their plans. If you do not know this, and you don't have these people's brains, these people's image in your brain by now, you need to know this. Publishing their plans for a satanic new world order where you will eat bugs, own nothing, and be happy. They openly admit their plans to distract people from this current agenda through 3 things. What's the first one? They openly say, we will distract you with the drugs that you take. And these people are God-hating. I can't stand these people. These people know exactly what they're doing, and they're openly saying that what they're doing is satanic. They're telling you in broad daylight. And people are like, oh yeah, if I poison myself, the planet will get better. No, that's not the way it works. But drugs, video games, social media, the beast system taking shape in real time. Remember that you best start believing in ghost stories. You're in one. That's what I'm talking about. Next. From observations of the disaster recently in North Carolina, you may need to save yourself. Don't rely on the government. Floods in the mountain towns of Appalachia were not on anyone's radar, including the meteorologists. Isn't that weird? We have all this crazy equipment. And nobody knew it was coming, right? Lahaina, Hawaii, Springfield, Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio come to mind as well. I won't go into that, but it's absolutely unconscionable what's happening right now. And it's absolutely abhorrent what's happening. If you ever previously did believe it, it's now glaringly obvious that the government's not your friend and will stop at nothing to deceive you. Keep going. Build up your nutritional bank account. Pharmacies are going to be looted first. They're not going to go for the banks. Why? Because the banks don't have any money. You learned that from the Bitcoin stuff, right? Where are they going to steal from first? Pharmacies. Next. To avoid the government-sponsored FEMA camps in 15-minute cities, you've got to be self-reliant and prepared. Next. Anywhere between, and this is for all of our healthcare professionals, because I know we've got a lot of people that are going to watch this later, a lot of people that are going to see this in their part of their Divine Design Academy. So 40 to 80% of our patients at any given time, it fluctuates, are healthcare professionals. So of every type, it doesn't matter. Therapists, nurses, you name it. Dental hygienists, imaging people. Even if you have the training of a medical doctor, you got to know, no one can do this, all of it. Nobody. Family docs don't know how to do major surgery. Surgeons don't know how to treat diabetes. Isn't that crazy? Paramedics, they don't do daily wound dressing, and nurses don't do patient transport in the field in non-ambulatory care settings, right? So nobody's going to be a master at all of this stuff. We can give you the lists of stuff to buy, and we can tell you here's some stuff, here's some protocols, and here's some oils, and here's some supplements, and here's some herbs, but nobody's going to have all these. Nobody's going to know how to use them all, and you're not going to know how to bandage something if somebody's leg is twisted around the wrong direction facing south when they're going north. So don't feel bad. Just get off zero. That's all I'm saying. Just start learning something. If you don't know any of this, read a book. Read a book on emergency preparedness. Read a book on how to put a bug out bag together so that you're not buns up kneeling when everything hits the fan. Hello, darling. There are too many possible scenarios to address, so this event makes no claims as to a comprehensive grid-down survival medicine scenario. But you'll be able to handle the grand majority of common afflictions without reliance on overwhelmed emergency rooms and corrupt bureaucracy. Does that sound good to everybody? Well, yahoo, right? An ounce of prevention, pound of cure. Avoid the top reasons that people frequent medical establishments, and your body, I promise you, will thank you. Next. A few more reasons here for our healthcare professionals. Example number 1, emergency medicine says rest, ice, compress, and elevate. Is that a good idea? No. Why is that? Wait a minute, you're saying no. Every school, every college, every EMT, every nurse learns that. What do you mean no, Tracy? Weird. It's completely misguided. It results in further injury, as we'll soon see. We might skip that part, but if you have a question about this, why is that wrong? And now they're putting a P in front of it, so it's price. If this is flawed, how deep does the deception go? So if they're telling you the wrong thing to do for an injury, how long were you a nurse?
35 years.
35 years. Did you do that like all the time? Afraid so. And you're not even a patient here. But I've tried to scare you away, and she keeps coming back. I can't get rid of her. But that goes against blood flow. That goes against blood flow. That goes against blood flow. So if you want your swollen ankle, if you want your sprained ankle to heal, the only way it's going to heal is blood flow. But all of those, basically all of those, stop the blood flow from getting there. So if you're in a traumatic emergency and you're bleeding out, yeah, okay, a little bit of ice, sure. You know, you don't want to bleed out. But any traumatic, heavy-duty thing, we're just doing rest, ice, compress, and elevate. I told a story a long time ago about the 7-year-old that had a swollen testicle, and the nurse and the doctor told the parent, yeah, just rest it, ice it, compress it, and elevate it. How are you going to do that on a 7-year-old? See, it's like we regurgitate this nonsense that we've been taught, even when it doesn't make sense, right? Example 2, with any type of infection, medicine says to stay away from people. Remember that? Remember the COVIDs? But we say come in and let your body talk. You don't have a virus, you've been poisoned. It's crazy, I know. We've all been indentured with the servitude of virology, but you don't have a virus, you've been poisoned. Why do you want to hear me? Well, I've lived all over the place in various climates. I've participated in a lot of outdoor activities, studied various aspects of wilderness survival, bushcraft for many years. A lot of work, did work hiking, mountain biking, jeeping guide, Aspen, Colorado, member of National Ski Patrol, non-ambulatory care in backcountry wilderness environments. You show up on the scenes, there's blood all over the place, somebody's legs twisted around the bad, the opposite direction of what their face is facing. And what do you do to keep them alive until you get them, down from 13,000 feet to an ambulance? Well, that's what we're talking about. PSIA instructor, I've been on the mountain plenty of time. BLS, CPR, AED trained, certified. That's all garbage because this is all that matters, man. All those years I spent in college. 3 bachelor's degrees, 4 minors, 1 doctorate, and 2 postdoctorates. And then here I am. Oh, but we got more. Clinical practice for 10 years. And the 3 lenses that we use to view everything through that we do is A, is it biblical? B, is it physiologically sound? And C, is it logical? B, biblical, that's pretty simple, straightforward. But physiologically sound. Is it physiologically sound that I would want to push blood flow away from an area that I'm trying to heal? No, that's what I mean. The rest ice, compress, elevate thing, garbage. Is it logical that everybody needs this supplement, but it's only found under Sherpa dung on the east side of the Himalayas? I hear this all the time. Well, this is like super cool, but it's in pearl. It's a pearl calcium thing that just comes from oysters that are on the east side of the, Malaysian fault line. So how is it possible that everybody needs this? It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. And that's not biblical, because why would God make something and make it only available to one little spot, but everybody needs it? He's a God of abundance. He's a God of abundance. He's not a God of lack, right? So these are the lenses that we view everything through. You'll see why. We're seeing miracles daily. You'll see why. We are equipped to handle anything that walks through the door. You'll see why. Dissected enormous humans in undergrad and grad school. So I thought I'd put you all at ease by telling you that I can dissect smaller humans too, and it comes naturally. If you're not busy later. Born again, spirit-filled follower of Jesus Christ, faith over fear. However, be careful who lays hands on you in these strange times. There's a lot of weird stuff going on out there if you haven't seen the New Age for Old Devils class that we did probably about 10 months ago. Next. Our little review. Why are we screwed? Well, in 1891, there were 7 diseases and 12 medications. These medications were all based on plants. In 1908, in the U.S., only 1 in 8,000 people was diagnosed with cancer. Today, the ACS is the wealthiest charity in the world with 1 in 2 Americans projected to battle cancer in their lifetimes. How many of you know that? American Cancer Society says 1 in 2. How do they know? How can they predict that 1 in 2 people will have cancer without knowing what causes the cancer? They know. They know exactly. Oh, and the American Cancer Society, where's it located? Atlanta, Georgia. Across the street from what? The headquarters of Coca-Cola. We now have 10,000 diseases and 561,000 patented drugs. How many of those patented drugs, nurse of 35 years, cure a disease?
Not for none.
0. How about 0?
Yeah, zero works.
Bread and butter diseases in the medical system are these: high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. What do all 3 of these have in common? Money, yeah. High blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. Diet. What else do they have in common? They're not really diseases. This, we just made you afraid of your blood pressure. This, we just told you to eat sugar instead of fat. And this, we told you to stay away from fat and eat the sugar. Isn't that great? That's just your heart rate. And your blood pressure gets higher if you poison yourself. So how are you poisoning yourself to get high blood pressure? You're eating the sugar and you're not eating the fat. It's perfect. It's easy. They knew this. Next. Every year, and I'm just, every one of you in your families has people on those drugs. Cholesterol drugs, statin drugs is what they're called, or blood pressure drugs, and or diabetes drugs, metformin. Why is everybody pinching themselves and injecting Gila monster venomous reptile venom into their bodies these days? What's the name of that drug? Ozempic. So instead of changing your diet, inject venomous reptile poison into your body. That's where we are now. Every year, cancer, heart disease, stroke, arthritis, diabetes, dementia, autism, everything goes up. Hyper's too high, hypo's too low. By definition, everyone is what? Of course. It's like telling somebody, the dermatologist, tell everybody, your skin, it's precancerous. Yeah, what was the other option? Dummy. It's precancerous. Newborn baby's precancerous. By that definition, you dummy, right? Adult parents are now being diagnosed with autism via online questionnaires. Thanks, American medicine. I'm not kidding you. I had a 50-year-old woman walk in here, I don't know how long ago, 8-10 months ago, wanted to argue with me because I said, who told you? It was on her sheet. On her sheet, it says she had autism. And I said, where'd you get the autism? Who told you have autism? Well, what do you mean, who told me I have autism? You drove here. You have children. You have a job. I started thinking I was losing it. And then she said, well, I took an online quiz.
Oh, jeez.
So you've got the entire population being tricked into taking on that title and aligning themselves with that curse. And then that makes them think, well, maybe I am autistic because I'm depressed and I'm anxious. So yeah, maybe I'm on the spectrum. You've got friends and family, adult people in your family who are getting swiped into this, sideswiped. Makes me sick. Pain medications have resulted in an opioid epidemic now ruining American cities en masse. And the American Medical Association and the Centers for Disease Control blacklisted 2 off-patent drugs for the first time ever. When was the last time you ever heard of the medical establishment turning and eating its own and blacklisting 2 of their 2 drugs? But here's the key word. It was off-patent. So they had to tell you that you couldn't have it so that then they would sell you biological warfare agents and trick you into taking it. Oh, and by the way, in the 1960s, so the history of American disease, I just pulled stuff out of my hat. Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. And I'm just thinking, how sick is this? Because in the 1960s, you never heard of a nursing home. You never heard of in the 50s and 60s, there was no such thing in nursing homes. There was no such thing as autistic schools for kids. There was no such thing as dementia centers. There's no such thing as any of this in the 1960s. So thank you, American healthcare. Very nice, very nice. You're doing a really swell job. Okay, so how should I change my lifestyle? So the next question is, okay, well, if they're screwed in the hospitals and the nursing homes, well, how can I change my lifestyle? Why should I? In a shizzle hits the fizzle, crap hitting the fan scenario, you do not want to be dependent on drugs, oxygen tanks, CPAPs, monitors. We talked about that a little bit. Okay, so how should I change my lifestyle? Keep going. Well, we here cancel. Here's our little our pitch. This is what we do. We cancel your surgeries. We get rid of your subscriptions, and we get your life back, your prescriptions. 90% of everybody walking in here is going to get 50 to 90% improvement over all symptoms within 90 days. 90%. 50 to 90% improvement in 90 days. Can you guarantee that? Yeah, if you do what we tell you to do. If you're ready. Not everybody's ready. For the first time in your life, here's the kicker. Someone's going to train you to actually sustain yourself with real food. The problem is you don't have a virus, you've been poisoned. The problem is people have been poisoned, and so they're what Royal Lee said, they're suppressing or they're treating the symptoms of malnutrition with chemical poisons. You just got to teach them. The detoxification methods we use can literally save your life many times over in a fraction of the time expected. All the stuff on that end of the building, that's why we do that. Very few people talk about detoxification and how to speed it up. That was one of the things that really clicked with me years ago. I thought, man, people are full of crappy food and drugs and all kinds of stuff. We have to get that stuff out of their body. How else are you going to do it? You're not going to do it just with nutrition. And you're not going to do it in a quick way. It might take years, but you're not going to do it just with nutrition. Your program should quickly move from once a week to once every 4 to 6 weeks. And then you're at a maintenance phase. 90% of our current patients are monthly. Everybody that walks in here, most of them, raise your hand, you're monthly, well, I put up with you all the time. You're monthly. You don't even go here, and I still can't get rid of you. All the people out there, hundreds of people, I don't even know. Most of them, 90% of them are just monthly. They're just on maintenance, and now we're just keeping stuff at bay and watching over them and guarding them. You know, that's how this works. If you do the nutrition and the chiropractic, that's about $1,200 a year for visits for the nutrition and the chiropractic, compared to premiums and deductibles many times larger, and you actually get something for your money. Average family of 4 in the United States, their insurance premiums, guess, $25,000. That's the average. That's average. Can you believe that? And people are wondering why they're broke? Because it's getting stolen out of their paycheck before they see it, and they don't even think about it. You regain and then maintain your health in an ever-increasingly toxic world. This is nutritional salvation. Diet is the word die, followed by a cross. And humanity got into this mess by eating something that was expressly forbidden. Can I get an amen or an amen? So some simple physiology. If your doctors just understood this, I shouldn't say doctors. If the people that you don't go to anymore, your medical doctors, if they just understood this is how simple it is. If you just look through an anatomy book, you're going to notice a pattern. You are simply a bunch of tubes. Arteries, veins, nerves, your trachea, Then behind that's your esophagus. Your trachea goes to your lungs. Your esophagus goes to your stomach. And your intestines are just tubes. Your bones are just tubes. This is so easy. It's ridiculous. A symptom is just a signal of an offense to the body. So when the tubes try to clean the body, they always go in this order. Check this out. Number 1 tube, well, that's your nausea. So you're getting sick. Immediate venting through what? Yeah, you ought to take a picture of this. You're never going to see this anywhere. Immediate venting, you get sick, you take in some poison. Remember what I said right here. Why would somebody puke? Because they took in some what? Poison. So the first way your body's going to push it out is through the front door. Right? Makes sense, right? People, man, they get sick and they get all nauseous and they take an antiemetic. What's an antiemetic? Emetic means puking. Antiemetic means anti-puking. Number 2, if you can't push it out the front door, where's it going to go? It's going to go through the back door. So now I've never taught this. I've never taught this. I've done 200 of these things and I've never broken it down. And I've never put this in front of people, but it's so obvious, and you're going to love this because it makes so much sense. The diarrhea, though, the next route, if you block the vomiting with an antiemetic or something like that, your body's going to suck it through and put it through your intestines, which is another bunch of hollow tubes. That's the back door. Are you getting the house analogy because your body's a temple? What's the next thing? I would say, well, if we can't push it out the front door and the back door, where would you go next?
Side door.
Or, it's the same. How about a window? Huh? Who said window? Who said window? You win something. I don't know what. Lung congestion, but your lymphatics are then going to move all the stuff to your lungs if you can't get it out the back door because the back door is shut or locked. So then it's going to go out the windows, right? What's the window? Oh, is that ready? Oh, God, I love you. Can you grab that? Yeah, because this is like I can't talk with my hands like a good hillbilly.
Italiano.
Right?
So, are you getting this? Hold on to that for me. Thank you, Jonathan. Everybody give Jonathan a warm round of applause. We love you. So the lung congestion, the lymphatics move it to the lungs if you can't get it out the back door, right? Every doctor should know this. And so it's going to go through the windows, right? And that's going to be coughing. So this is puking, diarrhea, coughing, sneezing, right? Are you getting this? Then if you can't get it out the windows, aka the lungs, if you can't cough it out, your body's going to resorb it and say, man, we are really trying to get this out. So it's going to go, moves it to the skin if the windows are sealed. And that's the chimney. The best analogy I could make is like out the AC intake or something, out the cracks in the door, something like that, right? And then number 5, this is what everybody freaks out about. They feel a little breast lump in the shower, or they're like, oh, what is this? Oh, a little lipoma or fibroma or cyst or fibroid. And then they're going to go, oh my God, is that, what's the word?
Oh, the C word.
The C word, which we don't mention in this office. But tumors, all that is the body seals it into pockets, aka, well, if we can't get it out the front door, the back door, the side door, if you're in Jane's house, or if we can't get it out the windows or the chimney or the AC vent, people got the chimney sealed up because they got central AC and all this stuff. What are you going to do? Well, you got to get it out somehow. So medicine's answer is, wait, go back to that last one. Did I miss something? Oh, yeah, right here. So you got to put it in the garbage can. If you can't get it out the front door, back door, windows, or the AC intake, you got to stick it in a garbage can, right? And hopefully it won't stink. Because if it gets into your blood, what do we call it? Metastasis. Oh, it metastasized. It was in his prostate, and then it spread to his lungs, and it got to his face, and it got all over his butt, and he's got butt cancer and bone cancer and head cancer and face cancer because it got in his blood. That right there, if you taught that in medical schools, it would change the world. Nope, too simple. We got to drug you and cut you and fry you. So you see why I'm passionate about what we're doing here? Because there's people being murdered every day. So medicine's answer is to stop all the stuff we just did, which all of these things, are they natural or unnatural? Natural. Your body's doing what it's supposed to do. When they try to stop it, what is that? Unnatural. 100% unnatural. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Or in drugs, it would be to block, suppress, or inhibit normal physiology, right? So our answer is to open your drainage and detox pathways through pee, poo, breath, sweat. And ladies, you got a 5th way. It's called bleeding. Guys don't have that one. Unless you're a guy in 2024. No? I can't say that? Yeah, okay, bleep that out. Okay. And fever, yeah, but fever is just raising the temp to cook the critters because your body's never going to cook its own brain. I have news for you, right? nurse of 35 years, have you ever seen a fever cook a human brain? No. It's like if you ask a vet, hey, have you ever seen rabies? No. Really? You ever seen heartworm? No. We should talk. Same thing. Medicine, therefore, will never address toxin accumulation since their business model results in toxin accumulation in your body. See how simple this is? It's not rocket science, right? So we got to pee, poo, breath, sweat, blood. When people come to me and go, I'm frequent urination. Great. What do you mean great? That's great. Keep it up. Keep peeing. Keep pooing like a goose. Keep it up. Keep blowing stuff out. I'm coughing. I'm sneezing. I got all this sinus stuff, sinus pressure. I'm just good because your body's doing that on purpose, right? So they're always blown away by that. But when people come in here and they say, well, I don't sweat. Oh, honey, you will when I stick you in a box and crank it up to 150 degrees. You will sweat. Maybe not once, maybe not the second time, but that third time, you're going to be coming to me going, because every pore in your body, right? People come, I don't sweat anymore. It's like they're a queen. Let them eat cake. No, you're going to sweat, honey bunny, because your physiology still is intact. Next. So, there we go. Everybody give Heidi a welcome.
All right. So this patient, she's been here a couple years, and she said, I accidentally got into some poison ivy. My hands were covered in little bumps, and the itch was terrible. I was already on a good supplement program, but just by adding one whole food supplement, the bumps were gone in just 2 days. Now I feel amazing, and there's no rash or itch.
That would be a trip to a walk-in clinic or an urgent care center or an ER. There would be topical steroids, topical antibiotics, ingestible oral antibiotics. It would go on forever, and she'd be screwed. And then later on, she would develop dermatological problems. Next. This is my mentor when I was about 5 to 15. When society tells me to follow the rules, act normal, believe the disempowering narratives in the media, and quietly blend in while suppressing my soul's true purpose, no. Leftist MDs trying to convince cardiac patients that their strokes are due to rising temperatures and are completely unrelated to the 5 experimental shots they've received over the last 2 years. Good job, medicine. Shooting practice, medical practice. If you knew that your doctor was allowed to experiment on you, basically got paid to purposely miss the target and called it practice, would you continue to let them take shots at your health and life and kids and moms and dads? I don't know about that. Next. Trust us. We're health experts. That's a dude. That's Beetlejuice. That's an Egyptian mummy. That's a Chinese mummy. And that is a bovine four-legged ruminant creature. But those are the health experts. MSNBC, NPC News, NPCNN. We got our news from multiple sources. That's a great one. Oh, yeah. See, this is interesting, too. Yeah, go talk to a vet. Let me know what they say. Because we figured out how to stop animals from dying in vet land. So how can we not figure out how to keep humans from dying in doctor land, right? Because the animals are worth money. Because you got a herd of cattle or ducks or pigs or chickens that all die, and you're in deep doo-doo. So we figured out how to fix disease in animals. Ask the vets. But what about human doctors? Wow. What causes the animal problems? I'll tell you, it's the drugs, it's the food, and it's the vaccines. That's the same thing, right? Same thing that kills the humans. So I'm not saying animals live forever, but what I am saying is this. We feed them enough so they don't die. We're still not doing that with humans. Go read all the books by Joel Wallach. He's a DVM. He's seen all this firsthand, right? Your dog is sick? Well, usually it's related to their diet. What's he eating, says the veterinarian. Human doctors? Oh, I'm sorry to hear you get stomach aches every time you eat. Have you tried antacids? If that doesn't work, we should run an endoscopy and look at your stomach from the inside. If that doesn't work, you're probably dying and should try chemo. That's American healthcare. Kudos. How would we treat your emergency to get back into it? Well, okay, good. That's all fine and good. You're making sense, Dr. What's-Your-Face. But how are you going to treat if I have a gash or if I have a broken bone or whatever? Well, like I said, there's too many scenarios to go through all of them, even if we had this class in 6 different parts. But our 7 tools of biblical technology are these, and that's it. Tell me one of these that isn't, tell me one of these that is not ancient. Which one? Light, water, heat, electricity, plants, animals, or the hands of another human. Are any of them brand new? Are any of them massively old? How about all of them, right? They've been around since day one, all of it. This, you could argue, this is brand new, but this has always been around. It just took us a long time to discover it. You could say electromagnetic fields, you could say magnetism, you could say, polarity. You could say a lot of different things. But these and these and these, guess what? This and these 2 were created on day 6. So go figure, right? Ionic detox. This is everything we do here. Ionic detox, sauna, pulse, laser, chiropractic. Detox, what's it do in one sentence? Food, air, and water organs. That's your bowels, your lungs, and your kidneys. Sauna, you sweat out months or years of toxins. 5G EMF, that's all your broken bones, your dental abscesses, your overall well-being. You recharge the cellular membranes. You turn the raisins back into grapes. That's what that does. Cold laser, you stimulate your DNA to heal damaged tissue. In other words, let there be light. And then chiropractic is the world's oldest healing profession. No drugs, no surgery, no kidding. And Megan, what did the first chiropractic adjustment fix? Deafness. You knew I was going to ask you that. Yeah. But yeah, how would we treat your emergency? So here's the point. Everything we do stimulates and restores blood flow. Go back to that one, Jonathan. Light, water, heat, electricity, plants, animals, hands. These 2, the nutrition stuff, the herbal stuff, the oil stuff, whole food supplements, everything here, adjustments, foot spa, sauna, pulse, sauna, right? All of those are going to stimulate blood flow because we want blood flow going in order to get the good stuff to the place where where there's a problem, whether it's a break or whether it's a disease or whatever, right? So go to the next one. Everything we do stimulates and restores blood flow. What do drugs and lethal injections do? Poison you. So let's just look at how would we treat your emergency. What do you see there, nurse of 35 years? Any idea? There's a before and after. I know it might be hard to see from this angle, but why don't we go to the next one? See anything weird there? How about the next one? That angle gets it, doesn't it? What happened? Dude fell roller skating, 13-year-old kid, boom, broke his wrist right off, right here, right? He, 13-year-old kid, and dad come in, they say, we're not going to a hospital.
Praise God.
Okay, great, now I've got some faith. Now I'm dealing with some people with some faith, right? So, said, okay, well, I guess there's nothing like a little pressure. So here's a pulse, here's a laser, here's some supplements, see you in a week. They came back, and over the course of a very short amount of time, we saved, I'm just going to guess, a $40,000 or $50,000 surgery, plus the rehab, plus learning how to use his arm again, plus the pins and screws and plates, plus never going through an MRI machine in his life, which might actually be a life-saving thing. And then all of the premiums and deductibles and copays and coinsurance and prescription stuff, and then just the trauma of having to go through that at age 13. Why am I so passionate about this? Because that right there happened right here on April 29th of 2006, and I have 9 screws that I didn't need because guess what? They don't do casts anymore. When was the last time you saw a kid with a cast? Everybody let me know. Been a while, hadn't it? Did kids stop breaking bones?
No.
Of course not. So what's happening? Did the hospitals just quit doing casts? Pins and screws, baby. $10 cast or a $45,000 surgery. What do you think they're doing? Nurse of 35 years? What do you think they're doing? They're doing surgeries. So there's no more casts. And just to make matters even crazier, I have imaging people that work in imaging centers. I won't say which ones, but they do MRIs and CAT scans and x-rays all day long. So I mentioned this to them. I go, oh, you work in an imaging center. Excellent. Tell me when was the last time you saw a little kid come in and get a cast? And they just kind of looked at me. And I said, why do you think that is? And they said, well, you know, it's interesting you say that because we used to be trained in how to take x-rays and CAT scans and things like that around casts and how to position them and move them. But now, yeah, we don't do that anymore. I said, I know why. Right here. Because They will cut that, they will pin it, they will plate it in a nanosecond, and they will make you think that the only way to fix this is through surgery. But have these accidents been happening for 6,000 years? How'd they fix it? I'll tell you, light, magnetism, electricity, and food. How else were they going to do it, right? Anyway, so yeah, no more casts. Just know that. How does that affect people in your family and your kids and your cousins and your nephews? How about this one? Here's a different one. Oh, and make sure, that was, go back, Jonathan, I'm sorry. Make sure all of these on this side were before, this side's after. Look, what can you tell from his bones are denser? You don't have to be an x-ray reader to know this. Bones are denser, stronger, thicker. Why? What was he doing here that he wasn't doing here? Electricity, laser, and nutrition. All of a sudden, you got to fix this broken bone. You have all the, you have all the help in the world. You have all the inspiration in the world to eat better, right? If you know you're not gonna cut yourself. So that was a 13-year-old kid. Next, and then all these were just within the last year, within the last probably 6 months. Right here, I know you can't see it in the nosebleed section up there. Sorry, balcony, but right here, torn ligament. What does that ligament let you do? No big deal, just lets you pick things up. That's your thumb, right? So what do the medical doctors do? They tell this 17-year-old kid, surgery. His mom and dad are there. They're not feeling it. They text us and we say, no, let's do this. Here's a pulse. Here's a laser. I had some people with some faith. They know who they are. They've had a lot of traumas in their life, in their family in the last 6 months. But we said, okay, here's some faith. Let's do this. So here's a pulse. Here's a laser. So what are we going to do? Here's a pulse to hit everything that we can't touch and move around. Here's a laser to stimulate the DNA to help the RNA and the protein to help the RNA form the proteins to heal the broken bones, or in this case, the broken ligament, so that you can move your thumb around. He was better in a couple weeks. That would have been a $30,000 or $40,000 surgery too, plus the rehab, plus everything else, plus all the premiums and deductibles that you had for years and years and years just to have access to that insurance. And that was before and after the previous ones. We didn't even take films after this because it's all better. He's moving it around, he's resistant pressure, and he's doing passive and active rotation and motion and stuff. I'm like, we don't even need a film. I just wanted the one with the broken arm because nobody would believe it. Nobody would believe that. You could take that to a medical doctor and show him that, he'd laugh. He'd go, no, that's a fake x-ray. He'd make something up. Next. Actually, this was a while back, but I thought this was a good one because this would scare the absolute pants off most people. But she is a wonderful woman of faith, and she knows where she's going when she's not here anymore. It's just she's not scared. You can be a lot more effective when you're not scared. Here's, I don't know, she got a little something on her leg. Here it is a little later. Here it is a little later. Tell me if this would scare most people. Next. Boom! Normal leg, not normal leg. See all this swelling and edema? Literally, this leg was almost, circumference, diameter-wise, was twice the size of the other leg. If your right leg was twice as heavy and you're walking like this down a hallway, would you get a little freaked out? Yeah. Most people are going to say yes. Here's her right foot. Here's her left foot. Normal, right? Not normal. What are you going to do? You're going to go to an ER. You're going to go to a walk-in clinic. They're going to scare the living crap out of you. They're going to CAT scan you, MRI, blood lab you. You're going to go sit in a cold, dark room, or not cold, dark room. You're going to sit there with lights on you in a half a skirt. You're going to be dehumanized. Then they're going to come in, tell you you've got liver problems. You've got some kind of cirrhosis, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, some kind of hepatitis. You're dead. That's what they're going to tell you. And they're going to give you standard operating procedure for this would be what?
Treatment for it?
Yeah.
It would be probably Lasix and antibiotics.
Antibiotics and steroids.
Steroids, yep.
100%. Mm-hmm. You go any hospital in the nation, they're going to tell you antibiotics and steroids. Yeah. That's for that right there. And probably 4 or 5 other drugs, as we're going to show you. Mm-hmm. So that's another story. Next. I've got so many of the ionic detoxification foot spa stories, I can't even go into them. I've got so many of the adjustment stories from people, I don't know, bone on bone. Anybody in here used to have bone on bone, as the medical doctors used to tell you? Yeah, bone on bone. You have to have surgery, right? Oh, you can't regrow cartilage. Really? Is that right? If you're still alive, we can regrow it, right? And even if you're not alive, Lazarus? But the chances are better if you're alive. Miracle adjustment stories, miracle pulse stories. I don't even have time to go into all these. Oh, one story too. Stay on that one there for a minute, Jonathan. So to go with the miracle crazy musculoskeletal stories, let's see. She was a pharmacy tech. This is about 6 months ago. She slips, cuts her tendon right here, blood all over the place. She goes to the surgeon. The surgeon says, we have maybe, this is the surgeon, with all the imaging and fancy procedure stuff and the fancy sharp scalpels and the robots and all the stuff. And the surgeon tells her, we have less than a 25% chance of success. You may or may not ever use your thumb again, right? This was very similar. This was a tendon. This wasn't a ligament like the 17-year-olds. So, and he says, you'll be in a brace for 6 months, and before I touch you, you have to have a tetanus shot, a flu shot, and a COVID shot. Who do you think she came to? She came here, I took a look at it and said, 25%? I'll beat the crap out of that in a couple weeks. He said 25%? She's like, yeah. I said, you won't have to get the shots or anything. I said, you ready to do this? Yeah. Okay, great. That was it. The surgeon himself with the sharpest scalpels in town said, well, we can only get you maybe 25%. And I took one look at it and said, I believe more than 25% in my sleep. So let's do this. So she's happy, right? We've had multiple concussion stories. Oh my gosh. Skin problems, post-stroke, double vision, going to single vision. Oh geez, spider bites. Okay, spider bites, detoxification stuff. If you got bit by a snake, you see how it's just too much stuff to go into one class. Poison ivy, poison sumac, poison oak. How many problems people run into just doing their lawns? This right here, that's your best friend, brother. That'll keep you out of a lot of problems. Chemical poisoning, poisonous plants, this and that. Miracle adjustment stories, frozen shoulder. What if your job is a surgical tech, and part of your job is to move the light during the surgery? And what if your problem is you can't raise your arm because it's stuck in a frozen shoulder? Are you going to lose your job? Oh my goodness. Not this guy, because we adjusted him and we got him fixed. How do you fix that? You adjust, you laser, you pulse, you nutrition. It's the same. It's the same stuff. So a lot of other, and bone on bone. My mom right here, they told you, let's take your knees off. I said, they're on crack. They're not touching my mom. Because I knew that if she's walking around, and that was how many years ago? 15 years ago. I was still in chiropractic school. I didn't even know what I was doing. Hell, I don't know what I'm doing now. But I was still in chiropractic school. And I knew better than that. My mom, you're not touching my mom with a scalpel. Are you nuts? But people go every day. People to get it every day. So the frozen shoulder stuff, the Arnold Chiari stuff, if you've got people with Arnold Chiari, it's a death sentence. They tell you can't have kids, blah, blah, blah. Get in here. Cancer stories, coccyx stories, arms, legs, all of it. Miracle pulse stories. Like I said, all the ear infections, all the tooth problems, all the root canal stuff, all the internal organ stuff that you can't get to and you can't touch. How are you going to touch it? We are. Broken bones, concussions, TBIs, all the stroke stuff, all the miracle stuff. It's crazy. But all we got to do is give them some stuff to go home. Do this at home. Do this 24/7. Do this until the next time I see you. Use it, you run it for a week, run it for a month, whatever. Go home, use it, come back. I'll see you in a minute. What are the big things that people are all worried about? You want me to break it down for you? Right here. This is what everybody's worried about. Heart transplant, 1.3 mil. Liver transplant, 1.1. Bone marrow is 950. Double lungs, 850. I imagine if you did a single lung, they would cut you a deal. Maybe they'd they'd probably do a single lung for $475, something like that. They want to get you the double lung. They want to give you that $25K discount on the $900K. Pancreas transplant, I didn't even know those were possible until I started looking into this and I started estimating all the stuff and just going, I didn't know. Pancreas, why pancreas transplant? Think Michael Landon, think Steve Jobs, think Patrick Swayze. In other words, you got all the money in the world. You got all the money in the world. And a pancreas problem, pancreas cancer, pancreatic cancer, takes you down because why? Because a pancreas does what? If you can't use your pancreas, if your pancreas is crapped out, you can't digest food. You're dead. So I didn't even know they could do these, but it showed up on Google, so it must be true. Kidney transplant, 500. I couldn't believe it. I thought about asking AI, but I didn't want AI to know I was looking for, I didn't want AI to think I was doing a pancreas transplant. But the most expensive medical procedure, so people say when they think, well, what if I need to go to the hospital? In their mind, this is most of the time, this is what they're thinking, right? What happens if I have some kind of crazy thing? How do we fix it? There we go. I was like, come on, Jonathan, don't let me down on this one. Question, why are there so many organ transplants? Answer, your refrigerator, your pantry, and your grocery cart. So our solution, how do we fix it? To the above, we're going to completely avoid all of that crap by toxin elimination and organ renewal. What do? Here it is. Simple, easy. Tell this to your friends and family, even if they don't believe. 2 things we do. Get rid of the poisons, at the same time, increase the nutrition. That's the simplicity of what we do. The simplicity is this. Decrease toxins, increase nutrition. That's it. It never fails. Next. So heroic medicine removes all your organs, puts another person's tissue inside your body. All the transplants that we mentioned above, all the removal of organs, they always go in this order. Ladies, pay attention to this one. First, they get your tonsils when you're a kid, then they go for your wisdom teeth when you're an adolescent, teenager, then they go for your gallbladder. Sometimes they'll do your appendix at the same time just to save you a trip, I've noticed. Then they'll rip out your colon, you'll be pooping in a bag. Then you got their stomach, and then they'll do a J pouch and all this nonsense. And then they'll take, well, ladies, partial or full, you pick. Then you got the prostate thing for guys, they're freaked out. And then if you're really, really a good patient, they'll take one and leave one, take one and leave one, and then they might even take that out. I don't even know how they do a splenectomy. But that's the removal of organs, and they usually go in that order. If you get that taken out, then guess what? You're going to get this one taken out, and then next, ladies, you're going to get this one taken out. 95% of the time, it goes in that order. Your gallbladder and appendix are a signpost that you're going to lose your uterus and or your ovaries later on. Vaccines and injectable peptides, we talked about that in the snake in the vein class 199. You got boy DNA going into girls and girl DNA going into boys in the shots. Isn't that interesting? And we're wondering why everybody's confused and doesn't know which bathroom to piss in. That might be it. Plasmapheresis, you got somebody else's plasma in you. We did that class, nothing but the blood. You might want to check that out. Blood transfusions, don't ever let anybody you know get a blood transfusion. Why? Well, you're nodding your head. Why?
Because I can transmit things through the blood.
Yeah, often leads to, if somebody says they have hepatitis, cirrhosis, something like that, ask them, have you ever had a blood transfusion? So many people started getting problems that people started saying, well, you only get cirrhosis if you pound a lot of liquor. But this dude didn't pound a lot of liquor. So what'd they come up with? Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, so your buddies in church don't think you're a closet alkie. That's why they did that. But the connection is never considered. The connection is never considered. They're going to tell you your body's making a mistake and it's attacking itself, but it's not attacking itself. It's attacking something else that's not itself. And in order for it to be in your body, it had to come from another organism. So we just blew autoimmunity out of the water. But there are people that you know that are on Humira for their rheumatoid arthritis, and they're on all these other drugs for all this autoimmune crap. It's garbage. Next. Instead, stimulate the hematopoietic system through laser detox, PMF, and nutrition focused on bone marrow. What is the hematopoietic? I use big words. It just means blood building. That's all that means. So it builds your blood. The most popular commercially available store-bought nutraceutical supplements. We just talked about this. That's what everybody's buying. Vitamin D, fish oil, CoQ10, magnesium is number 4. I answer these questions every day. Turmeric. We got the best turmeric in the world. Multivitamins. Where did the term multivitamin come from? Royal Lee, 1929, right? Probiotics. He created the first probiotic. I'm going to answer what some of these are here in a minute. He created the first probiotic. Everybody in this room knows what a probiotic is because of Royal Lee, and you don't even know it. Then vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin B12, calcium. What's the problem with these? Vitamin C, B, D, B12, what does that mean? What's the problem? How are you going to synthesize and harvest and isolate and megadose vitamin C? It has to be done in a laboratory. There is no way to do any of these. You can't just run out and pick magnesium off the ground, right? You have to synthesize it. You have to concentrate it. You have to isolate it. So note, usually these are created synthetically by some kind of subsidiary of Big Pharma, but they put pictures of plants on the bottle so you don't know it. Points of interest. regarding SP, I just want to go through this real quick. I don't think we've covered this before, but it's very important. Over the years, there have been some very underhanded attempts to crack the code of standard process. And in the words of Dr. John Courtney from many years ago, he said this, I love this. He says, it's not a patented process, but we don't talk about it. So nobody else knows how to do it. It is quite complicated. Isn't that interesting? They didn't patent it because there was one particular organization they didn't want to know how to do this. And when you patent, you file paperwork with who? Isn't that interesting? So standard process started in 1929. Royal Lee was a visionary and a pioneer along with, we've done a class on Weston A. Price. We've done a class on Francis Pottinger. We called those real life Weston A. Price. And the real life Weston A. Price part 2 class was Pottinger's cats, if you want to check those out. We might do a class on George Goodhart one of these days. We might. Next. Royal Lee created the first multivitamin called Catalin. The term still lives on today. His Cataplex A through G products were introduced in 1934. I know G has become B2, but we're going to make it simple with alphabetical letters today. So anytime you see Cataplex in the name, I want you to understand this. And this goes for even the combo products where you see, some of the combo products, like let's say, Conjuplex contains RNA, it contains Cataplex AC. So this is a combo product because it's got multiple things in it. It's got Thymex and it's got RNA and it's got Cataplex AC, right? So Cataplex AC, this is a good example. When you see Cataplex in the name, Dr. Lee combined the best nutritional sources from number 1, plants, and number 2, animals, and he smashed them together. So he took the best vitamin C stuff, as an example, from the plant kingdom, from the animal kingdom, smashed it together, boom, you got standard process Cataplex C. Isn't that, what do you think of that? Yeah, pretty miraculous. You're asking, what's the best, magnesium, or some people are asking, what's the best calcium? And I'm saying, what's the best plant and animal stuff smashed together in one product? Think of it differently, is what I'm saying. So here it is. Plant, animal, plant, animal, plant, animal, plant, animal. See how that works? Bovine, bone, and adrenal, Cataplex C. What's the biggest source of vitamin C in the plant world? Buckwheat, reishi, and shiitake mushrooms. Where are you going to get Cataplex G? Wheat germ oil. And you're going to get it in animal kingdom, liver and brain. Very important. Very important. Do medical doctors know this? No. Do they want to? No. Insurance doesn't pay for it. Royal Lee was putting mushrooms into products in the 30s before mushrooms even became cool. Same's true for echinacea. You all know it because of Royal Lee. I never heard of echinacea. I heard of echinacea when I was like in 4th grade. I had no idea. Royal Lee. He's the one that popularized it. Cataplex C in 1934 contained both Cataplex C, vitamin C, and echinacea. Royal Lee made the first intestinal supplement in the U.S. It used to be called acidophilus. Now it's called lactic acid yeast. In 1939, you are all aware of probiotics because of him. Royal Lee pioneered PMG extract products in the 50s. We'll talk about those later. We'll get to those. I think in what's in the supplements, we went into great detail about it, if I remember right. Royal Lee made the first RNA supplement. Now, don't confuse this with mRNA. RNA and DNA, don't confuse this with the synthetic mRNA stuff that they're putting in people. So Royal Lee made the first RNA supplement in 1952. It's a major component of Conjuplex, I just told you about that, to make white blood cells. And RNA is also in Ligaplex 1 and Ligaplex 2 to support protein healing, right? So your DNA tells the RNA to make protein, and then the RNA makes the protein. So your DNA encodes all the stuff that your RNA needs to be able to make the protein and heal. And what's your protein? It's hair, it's skin, it's nails, it's eyes, it's ears, it's liver. So that RNA helps your body make protein. Just know that. He preached that calcium was essential to the human immune system, way ahead of everyone else. He foresaw the autoimmune disease epidemic before autoimmune was even a word. And back then they called it self-autophagy. It wasn't autoimmune, it was self-eating. Your body was eating something that was not itself. And in November 11th, we're going to talk about, I'm pretty sure we're going to do the 21 predictions of Royal Lee. It's going to blow your mind. So the average person's gut reaction is to run to the ER at the first sign of distress. But what if there's a better way to address, and these are all most people's, I guess, biggest fears about having to go to an ER. There it is. If you want to save a lot of time and worry and effort and heartache, figure out a way to fix all the stuff that's going to walk through your door in an emergency, and you can sit back and just play checkers or solitaire, whichever one you prefer. What if there's a better way to address AFib? Because everybody, particularly dudes, like, well, I have AFib. Do you know what AFib stands for? No, I don't. Well, do you know what it is? No. Well, then you say you have it and you don't even know what it is. Think about it. They've just scared people into repeating this, curse over their lives. Back pain. Yeah, that's a pretty common thing. You could rely on, hell, some people, that's all they treat. I'm making a joke on my own self right there. All the chiropractors out there, that's all they're doing. Neck pain, back pain, headache. Half of them. A good majority of them. That's what it's known for. When somebody finds out you're a chiropractor, what's the first thing they say? You got it. She's a nurse and she knows that. Isn't that crazy? Broken bones, bruises, chest pain. What is most chest pain? All my people who have listened to all of the heart classes we've done. It's a muscle cramp. 90% of the time it's a muscle cramp because the heart's made of what? Correct.
Or MSG, Chinese food.
It could be Chinese food, yes. The most common reason for emergency calls, yes, somebody was listening, yeah. She's like, note to self, no more MSG. That's what she was thinking. But chest pain, then diarrhea. Once we talked about that, earaches, we talked about that, fevers, we talked about that, lacerations. We could talk about that farther down the road, but there's easy, quick, simple things, and you don't have to know how to suture. Pain control, that's easy. Poisoning, we talked about that. Pregnancy. Medicine considers it a disease that has to be eradicated. So, yeah, they don't want humans reproducing, as is evident if you haven't noticed. Seizures, everybody's freaked out about their kid having a seizure. It's a normal thing. Just don't get in the way. Shortness of breath, everybody's freaked out about that. But if you can, shortness of breath, what usually causes shortness of breath? Something you breathed that was poisonous. What usually causes this? Something, diarrhea and vomiting and nausea, it's something you ate. If it's coming out of both ends, what does that tell you? No, here's a little clinical nugget that you'll never hear. I never knew this for the longest time. If it's the front door or if it's the back door, you know it's one or the other. It's some kind of poisoning, but you don't know. If it's coming out of both ends, what do you automatically know?
Or you think it's
Food poisoning. Very good. Yep. Snake bites. Everybody's freaked out about those. They happen hardly ever, but there is a solution to those. I'll show you. Sprains, strains, easy, same thing. This is a ligament. That's a muscle. Strokes, avoidance. That's the best way. Toothaches. Those can come and go, man. It could be an old root canal that went crazy. Or it can be you chipped a tooth on something hard, usually a Snickers bar or some kind of Jolly Rancher is what usually happens. And then trauma. So if we got an easy way to fix all those, guess what? We are dangerous. So look at this. This is my friend Mark Anderson here. We talked about this a little while ago on a webinar. What we're talking about here is rutin. So just read this as this. Easy Mag or Ceruta Plus. Now I'm not saying, this is not what the paper is about. The paper is about an isolated chemical, rutin. Now I mean a food-based molecule. I shouldn't say a chemical. But where did you hear this word used a lot in the last 4 years? Everybody was buying quercetin to get rid of what? Or to protect themselves from what? COVID. Absolutely. But it's in your plants. We observed that rutin had remarkably, I'll tell you the title. Rutin modulates the hemostatic disturbances induced by snake venom envenomation in mice. So this is rutin. It's buckwheat. It's buckwheat. This is just one little thing I wanted to show you guys, just to eliminate the idea of snake bites. This is not him talking. This is the researchers that put this together. We observed that rutin had remarkably beneficial effects, much higher than we originally expected in most of the evaluated tests, and such effect was apparently not due to inhibition of the snake venom. Therefore, our results, here it is, indicate that rutin has a great potential as an ancillary drug, they call it a drug, in concert with anti-venom therapy to treat snake bites, particularly in countries where anti-venomous availability is scarce. Although we studied the effects of rutin on an experimental model and further in vivo studies are necessary, our results are extraordinarily encouraging. So what are they saying? If you take this, you won't bleed out. That's what that's saying. And it will, well, not this, but rutin. And there are numbers of, just think buckwheat. just think buckwheat. I'm not talking buckwheat bread. I'm talking buckwheat, the plant. Okay? So Easy Mag, Saruta, Saruta Plus, that's what's Rutin primarily makes up these products. So we're not pitching a product for snake bites. We're saying nature already has the solution. That's what we're saying. So people say, I'll just take my drugs. I'll take my Costco vitamins. I buy my stuff from Dr. Google or Miss Instagram. This is what Royal Lee said. Royal Lee said, that's a horrible idea. You can give a chemist a watch. He can analyze it for content. Then you hit it with a hammer and give it back to him. Although it's the same watch, it's now lost its function. A nutritional concentrate, this is to answer your question right here, is an organized mechanism that has a function. If you break the function by separating the parts, the body can no longer use the mechanism. So when somebody takes synthetic megadose nutraceutical magnesium, what's happening? Now your body is having to go, what is this?
Yeah.
I need this mineral, and I need this vitamin, and I need this mineral here, and we got to get this out somewhere. What are we going to do with this? This is coming in a big dosage. So it's going to suck stuff from other places in order to use this and get it out. So it's when people say, and you've heard this because it was on Time magazine cover back in the early 90s, you've heard when people take, when people take supplements, it's just expensive urine. That's why. Because your body, it's synthetic supplements, it's gonna push out. And people parrot that one headline from a Time magazine cover article from 40 years ago because they think all supplements are worthless because of that one guy. Using high potency, he also said this, using high potency synthetic megadose petrochemical nutraceutical poisons is like whipping a tired horse. So Royal Lee was saying using high potency vitamins, you're whipping a tired horse. You're going to stimulate him to run faster, but sooner or later he's going to collapse because you never fed him. Spoken like a true Midwestern farm boy. That's why I can relate. 2021. We'll run through this real quick. I just wanted you guys to remember this. We zoom in on that, Jonathan, just a tad if you can. So here's this is the principal reason for visiting an ER in the United States. In the year 2021, I want you to see this. 140 million visits, because remember, this is the number of visits in thousands. So you got to put 3 zeros to the right of that, right? So 140 million visits. Population of the United States? Anybody?
375.
Are we up to 370? Oh, with all of our wonderful visitors that have come across. We are. We were at 330 6 months ago. I'll bet we're at 370. Yeah, that's right. We got a lot of new neighbors. Isn't that great? Thank you. Good job, government. Good job, medicine. So 140 million visits in 2021, and there's only 330 million people in the country. So that tells you a few things. That's telling you you've got some frequent flyers. That's telling you that some people are calling ERs or getting a ride to the ER from the ambulance or whatever to get to the other side of town because they don't want to spend money on an Uber. That's telling you you've got a lot of people coming in multiple times. That's what that is. But here's the numbers. Stomach, chest pain. So these are the top reasons for visits. Here are the top numbers of visits. So you've got 12 million stomach problems, abdominal pain, cramps, and spasms. What causes stomach pains, abdominal pains, cramps, and spasms in most cases? Huh? What you ate. That's the number one reason in 2021. And this is from my good friends at the CDC. So we trust everything they say. So, and the chest pain, look at this. 7 million. Shortness of breath, 6 million, right? So these are the top reasons. What is conspicuously missing? I'll review this. We're not going to go through all the crazy stuff we did in part 1. What's missing from the ER visits? Broken bones. Keep going. Stitches. Keep going. Cuts. Burns. What else? Gunshot wounds. Motor vehicle accidents. Right? All the stuff that you think people go to the emergency room for, they don't go to the emergency room for. This is what they go to the emergency room for. Remember, so we covered all this in depth. We went through and we showed you crazy stuff. This is the top 10 reasons for ER visits. We showed you, remember, this is hospital ERs. This isn't your urgent cares or your walk-in clinics, of which I could throw a stone and hit 6 of them from this office. This isn't the doc-in-a-box walk-in drug depots that they've popped up to put the ERs out of business by giving them cheaper drugs. These are just ERs in the United States. And this is why people are going, okay? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. There were 140 million visits. Remember, there were 330 million people in the country at the time. So We also showed you back when we went through I think we had 9 charts like this, and we just showed you. We said, get out of fear mentality, get away from, this is why people are going to the ER. We showed you motor vehicle accidents and gunshot wounds didn't even register in the numbers, in the columns, because they were so low. So people are like, well, I have to have insurance to poison myself and have it stolen and extorted out of my paycheck every 2 weeks. Do you? You tell me. You tell me, it's up to you. But you are almost guaranteed a diagnostic test. We showed you all the diagnostic tests. There was like a 50-50 out of 140 million visits. There were like 80 million diagnostic tests. So they're gonna do a CAT scan, MRI, blood lab. You can pretty much guarantee it. The results are all gonna come back after you go to the ER for a CAT scan, MRI, or blood lab. The results are all gonna be what? No, most of them are going to be, well, we don't know what the hell's wrong with you. The results are within normal limits. You're as sick as all the other sick people. Come back next week if it's worse. Am I right or am I right? So you have a 50-50 chance of getting a procedure. That means if they want to put a camera down your throat, put a camera up your butt, some kind of other procedure, you got a 50-50 chance. And then the average drugs was 3.5 drugs, 3.3. You go to the ER, you're coming out with 3.3 drugs. You're going to get a diagnostic test. You're going to get a procedure. You're going to get 3.5 drugs. The 20 frequent ER drugs, remember, number 1 was painkillers, so narcotics, NSAIDs, all that, which occurred 86 million times out of the 140 million. Oh, and let's go to the next. I think I had that all written down. Yeah, so that's the review. So that's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Walk-in clinics, urgent cares, unbelievable. There were 111 million diagnostic tests out of 140 million visits. This is all from 2021. We're going to show you what 2022 is here in just a second. Unbelievable. Next. So what is curiously missing? We talked about it. You have a 50-50 chance of all that. Yeah, we talked about that. Next. So what's curiously missing? All that data showed that not one major reason was any of the stuff you guys mentioned. What about insurance? Get out of pocket and pay 40 to 60% with no coverage. If you say, hey, I'm not using insurance, I'm self-pay, your bill went from 10 grand to 5 grand. Am I right or am I right? And guess how much money you saved on not having to pay for premiums and deductibles and copays that renew every year? You're welcome. I've had half a dozen, I don't know, more. Patients come in here, they learn all this, and they go, why am I paying for premiums every 2 weeks out of my paycheck? And I go, because your employer said it was a good idea because he gets a discount for having more people on his plan. That's why. Cancel your pre-tax insurance premiums stolen from your paycheck every 2 weeks and now put 10 or 20 grand a year back in your pocket from annual insurance premiums and deductibles. You're welcome. I just worked my way into your family and your Christmas tree card list, your Christmas card list, because I saved you 20 grand a year, and now we're getting you healthier, and we're rebuilding your organs instead of poisoning you. It's easy. Review of 2022 stats in plain English. So these are the stats from 2022. We went into detail on this back in part 1. I'm not going to blow into it very much. We're almost done. High blood pressure, COVIDs, long-term drugs, cholesterol. Wait a minute. What causes high blood pressure? Poison. What is COVIDs exposure? Poison. Long-term drugs. Wait a minute. How is this possible? This is the 2022 reasons for people going to the ER.
Wow.
Number 3, which also strangely happens to be the number 3 reason, the number 3 killer in the United States, it goes in this order. Heart disease, cancer, and then what? Pharmaceutical drugs. Number 3 reason people went to the ERs in 2022? Drugs. So when those tires are rolling on the ambulances and your tax dollars are getting sucked up, know that it's going for, the number 3 reason is for people having adverse drug reactions from long-term drugs. Cholesterol. So this is diet and poison, the lack of diet and poison, both, mainly diet. People in the shower, they find a lump, they run to the ER to get a mammogram. What? Nicotine dependence. Well, how is nicotine dependence an emergency? I don't know, it's 2022. We were just 2 years away from 2024, and every day is an emergency now. Chest pain, we already talked about that. GERD, they go to the hospital because they've got fire in their heart, heart disease. Shortness of breath, immunization. Well, isn't that interesting? The number 12 reason people go to the ER. What? And then how is this different than this? They got exposed. Here they're just thinking about it, I guess. And then hypo, remember? Everybody's sick. General adult medical exam, that just means they show up and they're like, I don't feel good. That's what that is. Cough, abdominal pain. Why does abdominal pain happen again? Food. Anxiety. Why does anxiety happen? Usually from the anti-anxiety medications that they're taking from the psychiatrist, usually. And then chest pain, chest pain, chest pain, heart pain, chest pain, heart disease, headache. Headache is usually poison or nutrition. Poison through the food or some kind of chemical, right? Interesting. So how would we fix all those? I think you already know. Professional observation. Why do people go to the ER? 2 reasons. So they don't have to wait for an appointment at their primary care, and because their primary care doctor's telling them to go to the ER. Oh my God. One of my long-term healthcare people told me that. It was hilarious. EMS statistics for Bradley County. 6,600 calls, 10 calls a month were actual. This is for the quarter. Okay, I'm just going to review this from the last one because this builds a case. 10 calls a month were actual emergencies. So out of the quarter, you have 26,000 calls. You've got about 120 of them being emergencies. So out of an approximate estimate of 26,000 calls, there's 120 true emergencies. This is 2016. I rode with some guys I know. I rode with a bunch of paramedics, EMTs. And I was asking. I was like, I want to know how deep this goes, you know? So you take the 120, divide it by 26,000, that's about a 0.46% rate of true emergencies to total calls. Everybody tracking with me on that? Yeah. So when all those ambulances and sirens go crazy, you're not hearing an emergency. I'm going to show you what you're hearing here in a minute. Easily less than 1% are actual legitimate emergencies. You hear those sirens and you think some poor soul is smashed into a guardrail with blood spurting out of her arteries with her kids in the back. It's not what's happening. It's not what happened. That's not what's happening. And this shocked me. This absolutely shocked me. I wrote all these stats down. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with these stats. Years later, I'm teaching a class on it. The rest are medication reactions and transports to or from hospitals and nursing homes. So out of those other 25,000 calls, right, 25,900 calls, the rest are medication reactions and transports to or from hospitals and nursing homes. These are stats from Bradley County. Verifiable. Paramedic. This is a buddy of mine. He said he gave Narcan 10 times a week in Hamilton County. He's one of dozens of people, so about a workforce of 120 commonly has the same stats. So all of these 120 people are pumping Narcan 10 times a week. If you don't know what Narcan is, go back to the first class, check that out. But so 80% respond to treatment. That means 80% of them were OD'd on opiates. So that's Chattanooga. Think Knoxville, think Nashville, think San Francisco, think Chicago, think New York, think LA, think Dallas, think Houston. This is Chattanooga. Next. So fast forward 7 years, 2023. Same thing. I recorded some statistics. This is for all of Bradley County. 22,000 calls. What happened to the number of true emergencies? It quadrupled. 1 or 2 calls a day now are true emergencies. It used to be 10 a week. Now it's 1 or 2 a day. Wonder why? Wonder if I can observe that in my own life. I wonder if I'm seeing that. Some calls have increased dramatically, like respiratory infections, open wounds, weird fungal growths, cardiac calls. Weird fungal growths. Interesting. Weird fungal growths. Cardiac calls are going crazy. Why? What happened between 2016 and 2023 where cardiac calls are going crazy? COVIDs. Yes. Each day, 6 or 7 trucks are rolling with 10 or 12 calls per 12-hour period to cover a county of 120K people. That's conservatively 120 calls a day. So overdoses have dramatically increased, especially around the time when government checks come out for disability, welfare, and Social Security around the first of the month and the middle of the month. All emergency personnel know this. Isn't that interesting? So as the government prints more money, they hand it out to disability, welfare, and Social Security for what? For drugs. So people can buy street drugs. Don't tell me your government's your friend. Next. Points of interest. I'm supposed to tell you to take all this crap and stockpile it. It's ultimately your decision. But outside of the ER, life-saving medication is a complete non sequitur. It's an oxymoron. Many people think pharmacy goods are the most important item in an emergency. When you hear people say, oh yeah, make sure you've got your life-saving medications in your bug-out bag and in your grocery cart and in your closet, make sure you've got a good supply of insulin. Yeah, that's garbage. Complete garbage. And turn to your printable, number 2. So here is how we do top 21 top popular poisons in your medicine cabinet and their natural alternative. You'll see the thing over here, aspirin, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, and it's used to treat all the nonsense, which are really just symptoms. And then over here, natural alternative. I put a lot of, the top standard process or the top MediHerb, and then sometimes it's like topical stuff, skin stuff. You'll see stuff like silver. You'll see stuff like USF. That's USF ointment, colloidal silver sometimes. I found colloidal silver is great to have because you can do it in the eyes, in the ears. You can do it in the throat. You can do it, you can't very much take, you can't take herbal throat spray and spray it in your eye or your ear. Colloidal silver is a wonderful all across the board. You can use it with a lot of stuff. But that is your how to replace your medicine cabinet. Skip this. Let's go to the next commercial break. You ready, Heidi? We're almost done. Everybody give Heidi a warm welcome.
So this patient, she's been here a little over a year, and she said, I used to get sunburned very easily and had to be extra careful in the sun. Recently, I went to the beach for a week and used a homemade sunscreen. I did not burn once. I think this can be attributed to the supplements I've been taking and generally improving my nutrition. Before coming to Divine Design, I had no idea this was even possible.
Oh, yeah, and look at your, exactly. Look at your sunscreen on that sheet. And remember, if you want to write this down, you can. Over to the right where it says cut sugar, eat greens. If you put sugar in the heat, it burns. If you put a plant in the heat, what happens? It doesn't burn. When have you ever seen a plant burn in the heat? Has a plant ever had skin cancer? No. So do you want in your blood to avoid having to wear sunscreen and avoid burning, sunburn, should you eat sugar or eat green plants? Green plants because they have chlorophyll, so the chlorophyll will be in your blood soaking up the sun. You won't burn, you'll tan. If you have sugar in your blood, you put sugar in the heat and it crystallizes. Take a torch to the creme brulee. What happens to the sugar in a creme brulee? And it hardens and there you go. So that's what that whole story was about. Let's laugh. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Ha ha ha. Just going to leave this here. This is a nurse, 12 years as an ER nurse, and every sudden infant death syndrome case had a well visit within 72 hours of their death. Every single one. People are starting to figure it out. People are starting to wake up. When oils and herbs are seen as witchcraft and aborted baby cells and heavy metals are seen as healthy, something's wretchedly wrong. You see why we're preaching so hard? We preach through 2020 and 2021 like our pants were on fire. Next. They say, you don't need 30 rounds for hunting. And I say, you don't need 6+ booster shots for a cold, but here we are. When they think you are cynical because you question proven liars who are trying to kill you. Yeah, proven liars. 1775, 2% tax, people's heads coming off. 2024, people staring at their phones, get 40% tax. Yeah, we're good. If your football team loses, you go nuts. Government destroys your business, your family, and your health. Bah! Oh, that's one of the best. All right, so here's a Mel Gibson, just with blood all over his face. That's a great movie. Top 14 fast-acting standard process of MediHerb supplements. You might want to know this. This is also in your, this is your printable number 3. See what we did to give you guys all this info? Yes. Turmeric forte, Nervogesic, rhodiola, ginkgo, zypan, gastrex, colax, allerplex, ginkgo, mental clarity and focus. That was the only tree standing after they carpet bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So they started studying the ginkgo tree because they said, this must be important. It withstood a carpet bombing. So yeah, we'll just tear through that. Next. Number 9 is kava. Number 10, RNA. Must be something very important about white blood cell proliferation. If you had like some kind of blood disorder or some kind of problem with your immune system and you were able to stimulate hematopoietic stimulation of the blood creation process in the bone marrow of your bones, if you could stimulate your white blood cells, would you help people with all kinds of immune problems? Yep. But no, medicine, that's your chemo and radiation. I think that's a good idea. Herbal throat spray, that is the only, well, I won't say only, but that is the fastest acting because you just spray it. We could have you do shots of Echinacea Premium liquid and stuff like that. That would light your fire. You'd never forgive me. But the herbal throat spray, that's instant. You can spray that and it replaces, like how many of you grew up with chloroseptic? Yeah, bye-bye chloroseptic. Hello, herbal throat spray. Adrenal desiccated, that is full-on heavy-duty butt-kicking adrenal support. Why would anybody need adrenal support in 2024 when the government's trying to kill you? They're flooding the country with a bunch of illegals, and we have hurricanes in the mountains of North Carolina. Why would anybody be stressed out, right? So the adrenal desiccated, that's one of the most potent. Chew that, it'll change your life. That's one of the most potent adrenal supports that we have. This is a liquid herbal. I would highly recommend everybody has that, just in case, they spray a bunch of crap and you can't breathe. That Bronchifect Phytosynergist is a lifesaver. And then, of course, with any musculoskeletal repair. I started my practice, when I first got in practice, that was the first supplement that I used. If you were just a chiropractor pushing bones forever, neck pain, back pain, headache guy, and you just sold Ligaplex 2, it would help you. It's crazy. Okay, real quick, we're going to shift gears to Young Living. So just real quick, I'll say 40 years ago, Gary Young did a lot for essential oils. He did kind of the same thing that Royal Lee did 95 years ago with supplements. Young Living slogan is seed to seal. Standard Process's slogan says seed to supplement. I find some interesting similarities between these companies. I love them. Love them both, but I've always been in love with Standard Process. I'll always love Standard Process more. 4 ways of entry into your body. There's only 4. 4 ways of getting stuff into your body. Ingesting it, inhaling it, absorbing it through your skin, or the one that we don't do here, injection. Those are the only 4 ways stuff can get into your body. You either eat it, you breathe it, you absorb it, or you inject it. That's it. There's no other way for crap to get into your body. So if you keep this one out, guess what? You just have to watch what you put on and in your body, and you're golden. We use oils for on, in, and around. So in other words, on, in, and around, right? So topically, orally, and diffused. So if I'm putting stuff into the environment, like you walk into this office, and one of the first things you'll notice when you walk in here is we thought about what we wanted you to smell today. So we're using everything for atmospheric diffusion. We're doing it topically, and we're doing it orally. Don't buy your oils or anything else that goes in your body or on your body at a retail store anymore. If you've been here for long enough, you know why. Fillers and chemicals in an essential oil defeat the whole purpose. You definitely get what you pay for in all aspects of life, and only this company should be orally ingested. Whether you like it or not, that's the only company out there that should be orally ingested. We put together printable number 4, essential oils for emergencies. If you notice the pattern here, I'm losing my voice, I'm talking too much. If you notice the pattern here, there's just a few oils on this list. There's like chamomile, eucalyptus, lavender, thyme, peppermint. That's it. Lemongrass, grapefruit. There might be 10 oils on there, on this whole list, but they can be used for everything. So you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You're putting together survival stuff, and you're putting together a bug-out bag. Make sure that nothing that you use has only one purpose. Everything has dual purposes. So, and then number 5, I wanted to run you through the number 5 printable, starts with basil, a very incomplete list of common and inexpensive oils, mostly inexpensive oils that you should be using. Starts with basil, blue cypress, blue tansy, right there. It's a very incomplete list, but those are mostly inexpensive too. And there's a little explanation on what they are and how they're historically. We just don't have time to go into it because it's like 2.5 pages, but I wanted you guys to have it. Okay? Use it. Ask us questions. We can go through it later with you at your appointments or something, but at least you've got this so you can start planning and just say, hey, maybe I should use some of this. And think about it this way. I don't just use it for us. I use it for our dogs, right? Keep the fleas away. Keep the ticks away. We spray it around the outside, the patio, the deck and everything. Keep the spiders away. Keep the roaches from trying to get in from the outside, and trying to get into your cupboards and stuff like that. There's a million different ways you can use this stuff. And at the bottom of that page right there, it says, note, Young Living products also include toothpaste, soap, mouthwash, fruit and veggie soap, cleaner, laundry soap, hand purifier, wipes, all the stuff that we would normally have sent people to a store to get. We say, no. Don't buy that from a crappy, don't buy that from a place from Procter & Gamble who's been trying to kill you for 150 years. Buy it from a company that's too big to get taken down. They're too big to be bought. So we train our patients to ditch the bad, switch to the good. And you can see all of our previous events on essential oils. A note on protocols. We don't do protocols Because a supplement for a symptom is the same as a drug for a disease. And your body doesn't think that way. Only humans do. So these are simply some of the many options available for you to consider. This should illustrate our ability to help you in every instance. So put the fear down, put the faith in store for us to be able to help you, because that's why we're here. So my whole purpose, the whole purpose of this business, is the purpose of this business to make a bunch of money? Or is the purpose of this business to hear the words, well done, good and faithful servant? There you go. So this should illustrate our ability to help you in every instance. Using muscle testing, we help to determine the most effective option and even dosage. That's why we don't do protocols, because everybody's body is different. I could say, here, take 6 and 2 and 5, and her 6 and 2 and 5 wouldn't get the same results because she's got different genetics, different diet, different stress levels, different history, different medicines, that she may or may not be on, right? So that's why we don't do protocols. What do? We use muscle testing. What is that? That's just an energetic way of figuring out where is your body right now at this moment in time using your reflexes. It's like doing a what do you call it? A polygraph. It's the same thing, basically. So a note, somebody did you just have I saw a hand go up. Okay. So a note on protocols. In the words of the great prophet Michael Dobbins, you can never be wrong, you can only be more right. Because why? We're using whole foods. You're not going to poison anybody. You're not going to do anything wrong. You can only be more right. You can only get a better result. There's no way you can screw it up when you're not using drugs. Why is my malpractice insurance $1,800 a year, but a medical doctor's malpractice insurance would be $50 or $80 or $150,000? Because he's using poisonous chemicals and toxic surgeries in order to hopefully get you through something. But who gets sued more, medical doctors or chiropractors? Medical doctors. They're killing people every day. They're using poisonous stuff, right? My malpractice insurance is $2,000 a year. Everything we use is safe for pregnancy, lactation, infants, toddlers, animals, and even those with feeding tubes. Remember I just mentioned, you don't have to just use these for you. You can use them on your dogs. Use them on your cats. Use them on your neighbor's cats. The neighbor's cat stinks, spray it with essential oils. Divine design, natural health principles. Everything is ancient, everything is safe, everything is effective, valuable, and empowering. So the protocols we never suggest, here it is. All those protocols, and actually those are a printable number 6. We just put them in a list. That's it. Made them very simple, very straightforward. If your idea is, I want everything that I need for heart problems or injuries, you can just go right to that, and you can, here's a couple things. Here's where I would start. Other fast aid solutions. Here's some stuff that you probably may or may not be familiar with, but if you have a problem with nightmares or blah, 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 respiratory issues, this is a natural antihistamine. It helps drainage. Beta food, that's for your liver and gallbladder. The calamo, you got to lower the pH for bursitis, joint pains, infections. You need a low pH. Does your body need a low pH or a high pH? In other words, I should say, does your body function better in an acidic environment or in an alkaline environment? Acidic.
Really?
That's why people back in the, in the 80s went to the health food store and bought a book talking about alkaline water. And from that point on, everybody was drinking alkaline water because they thought it's the new rage. It's the new craze, right? But your body only cares about the pH of your blood. It will change everything else, right? Think about how God designed everything. You could put the wrong pH of anything in your body and your digestion is going to change it so that it doesn't mess up your blood. So everybody thinks, you got to be alkaline, you got to be alkaline. No, that's why everybody's sick. You got to be acidic. Ask all the old timers that drank apple cider vinegar. It was acidic, low pH. You got to be able to digest your food. Your body is made of protein, which is made of amino acids. Your body is made of fat, which is made of essential fatty acids. Your body is acidic. It needs to be. Where you get screwed up is where you go alkaline. I know, it's crazy, but rest, ice, compress, and elevate, right? The medical doctors and the atheists, they love pitching the stuff, the alkaline stuff. They love pitching the carnivore stuff because they believe in millions and billions of years. They believe in all this crazy stuff. So we can't do plants and animals. We have to do either plants and be a Hindu and do vegetarianism, or you got to be a medical atheist and do carnivorism. It's a ditch on the right side of the road, ditch on the left side of the road. We can't just drive down the damn middle of the road anymore. Why can't you drive down the middle of the road and push everybody else off in the ditch, right? Other fast aid stuff, ionizable whole food calcium for tissue diffusion, rapid immune enhancement, teething, infections. When you give a kid who's got growing pains, which isn't really growing pains, it's the body pulling calcium out of the bones and the teeth, right? The kid's trying to grow, and it's trying to pull calcium so that we can stretch the bones and the growing pains. The kid's screaming because he doesn't have enough calcium. Oh, kid's teeth falling apart, doesn't have enough calcium, right? It's crazy. You give somebody some calcium lactate, and it not only fixes their sunburn, but it fixes their kid's toothache. They think you're a genius. Printable number 7 is all of this. We're not going to go through all of this. I just wanted to give you guys more than what you paid for. More than what you paid for. Last but not least, well, okay, we've only got 12 more pages. Can I have you for another 3 hours? Just kidding. We're almost done. 22 protomorphogens. So protomorphogen, don't think, next slide, pretty please. Protomorphogen, that's a big word, I know. But yeah, you guys can read all that on your own. Protomorphogen, big word, PMG is the abbreviation, but that's basically the genetic material or the deoxyribonucleic acids. Your nucleoproteins are acidic, right? So the DNA, the heavy nucleic material from the middle of the cell. So all I'm going to do with this, so if we want to rebuild your heart, your skin, your adrenal glands, your liver, your hypothalamus, your mammary glands, ladies, or a very progressive gentleman. Myotrophin, that one's gone actually because we don't make that anymore because this and this are the same. So FYI, but that means muscle. Neurons, so that's brain and fat. Eyes, testicles, ladies. Bones, ovaries, pancreas, parotid gland, right here, as I bang on my mic for Jonathan to hear. Pituitary gland, lungs, prostate gland, kidneys, spleen, thymus, which is your immune system, thyroid, which is your endocrine system, and uterus. So we've got pretty much everything to be able to rebuild somebody's organs. It's crazy. Roy Lee did all this in the 30s, almost 100 years ago. It's unbelievable. But he got some downloads. He had a gift. He had some divine magnitude gifts that he got and only he got, because so many people back then were completely antithetical to everything he was saying. Plus, you've got 3 additional combo products, Simplex Female, Simplex Male, which really confuses a lot of people these days. Just kidding. And then Paraplex. So Paraplex is the same as these, only it's got pancreas rather than gonadal stuff. So you can pretty much do anything. This is like, I see this as like a palette of paint, and you're doing a painting. People come in, and some of these are isolated, I shouldn't say isolated, I should say like concentrated, just ovotrophin, let's say. But if I wanted to really hit somebody's endocrine system, or if their body told me to hit their endocrine system, I'd go with this, because that's got ovotrophin in it. So if you know some of these products, and you know some of the combination products, you can do anything with people. It's fabulous. And you don't have to know everything. Their body's telling you through muscle testing. You don't have to build these protocols. You can if you want, but you can dial in on it very simply, very effectively, and very cost effectively. Because rather than building protocols just willy-nilly out of your mind or out of some book somewhere, you can actually dial into their body, and their body's communicating with you, telling you what it wants. It's wonderful. Next. So those are the protomorphogens. Last commercial break. Last time you get to laugh. Go ahead, Heidi.
This patient said, I used to weigh 220 pounds and I was sluggish, constantly anxious and depressed. I couldn't bear to wake up in the mornings and used to sit around all day. Now I weigh 153 and feel more energized, less anxious, ready to get up in the mornings, and overall very happy.
It sounds like a Prozac deficiency. Pfizer's been in business 175 years, hasn't cured one single disease. But they sure do have fancy commercials. And they've got everybody on their side. right? They're killing you with needles because you'd fight back if they used guns. You're in World War III right now, but you just don't know it. If you want to know how well the medical industry understands health, look at the food they serve in hospitals. Perfect. Is it the germs making you sick, or is it poor nutrition, EMFs, heavy metals, parasites, synthetic pharma, lack of sunlight, poor sleep, tap water, processed foods, traumas, and chemicals? You tell me. Everybody thinks it's bacteria and viruses and parasites and amoebas. Half the time, it's just you're poisoned. How ironic that the only people speaking up for the vaccine injured are the unvaccinated. Isn't that interesting? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know Nadia put this in here. This is a picture of me last week. Check on your conspiracy theory friends. They haven't had a day off all year. I'm just tired of being right all the time. Why'd you laugh? Okay, and last but not least, I have to cover herbs. We cannot go through this whole thing without hitting you with how heavy duty MediHerb is. We use a ton of MediHerb in this office. Most patients, though, are going to start with the whole food. And what do we mean by whole food? That's the standard process. That's the plants and the animals. And then they move later on to herbals and homeopathics. Because remember, whole foods are going to rebuild your organs. Herbs are gently going to stimulate your hormones and your neurotransmitters and your neurogenesis, or regenerating of new neurons, generation of new neurons. Understand this, because when people come to you and they say, well, I've got heart disease and I decided that, I was reading Reader's Digest and there was an article that said I need to take Hawthorne, right? You can look at them and go, yeah, that's not going to work. Why? Because you're not rebuilding the organ, you're gently stimulating with the neurotransmitters and the hormones and the neurogenesis. That's okay farther down the road when they get better and you've rebuilt and you've decoyed some of the stuff going to the heart and hurting the heart. You've decoyed it away. Yeah, but you first need to do whole foods. You do not eat herbs before you eat whole foods. It's so simple, but so many people have it backwards. They read about herbs, they go buy herbs, instead of thinking that the whole foods are the only things that are going to rebuild your organs. So some interact, and the other thing about herbs, and I hate to say that, and you remember when we did the gold, silver, bronze? And this is the whole reason I had to show you that. When we did the gold, silver, bronze, you might be asking yourself, well, why when they do silver can they do standard process and MediHerb, but when they do bronze, they can only do standard process? Why would that be? Well, because a lot of people who come in here are going to be on a ton of medications. So we're not going to hit them with a bunch of herbs. So when somebody comes in, they're on 27 medications, I'm going to go, you're going to bronze, because then we're only doing standard process. We're not even going to run into any of the problems. They're already on 17 medications. Do they need whole food or do they need herbs? They need whole food. I'm not even going to give them the option. They can't even do MediHerb. They're just doing standard process. Herbs have phytochemicals. A lot of the herbs have, where do the herbs come from, or where do the essential oils come from? A lot of the herbs. But we're not just talking the stems and the leaves. We're talking sometimes the roots, the bark, the pulp. The essential oils come from all parts of the plant. Flavonoids, tannins, resins, bitters, pungents, saponins, coumarins. What does that look like? Coumadin. Alkaloids, phytoestrogens, all that stuff. Herbs. Keep going. We exclusively trust MediHerb, leading healthcare professional only herbal company in the world. Thousands of years of research are available to you from the best companies. Thousands of years of cumulative research, right, are available to you from the best companies who have the equipment and the experience. You can grow them on your own. We've got a lot of homesteaders, home birthers, homeschoolers. They want to do things on their own. I get that. But growing them on your own can be probably pretty problematic due to space, seasons, animals, preparation. I can assure you, and I mean no disrespect, I can assure you that these guys know a lot better how to build these products and how to do your tinctures and how to do your liquids. I can assure you. We all have to trust somebody. Sorry. Next. MediHerb tablets, capsules, liquids. I put this together for you. This is not a printout. You might just want to take a shot of this. If I were to label, not label, what's the word I'm looking for? Man, it's been a long day. If I were to kind of tally, if I were to put together like my top in a crap hits the fan, without rule of law, the end of the world as we know it type of thing, what would be my top 15 MediHerb products or so? I think it might be, 19 or 20. Here it is, Andrographis. Why? Because you've got Echinacea, Andrographis, holy basil, the herb, and the essential oil. Artemisinin, this is basically what grows around all the endemic, all the places in the world where malaria is endemic. Does God put the solution to the problem often right next to the problem? Sure does. Artemisinin, and that's called sweet wormwood in other countries. Ashwagandha, skullcap, licorice, ashwagandha root, Korean ginseng root. Korean ginseng. So like this is, I mean, look at that. Skullcap, Korean ginseng, ashwagandha. This is a brain and stress tonic with a little bit of soothe in there, with that licorice in there. It's beautiful. Next, how they build these products. Sometimes it's just, that's what we need to do. I need to go to MediHerb. Put that on my list. Astragalus, or as the Australians call it, astragalus. Astragalus contains astragalus, Echinacea, eleutherol. This is called, another name is Siberian ginseng. Berberine active, that's a philodendron. Black cumin seed forte. This right here, make this your number one. This is a very good airborne problem. You know, your body can eliminate a lot of airborne problems with black cumin seed forte. Traditions of the Middle East and Southeast Asia say that black cumin seed heals all but death. Gordon, you might need that one. Echinacea, Ganoderma, garlic, golden seal. You take pictures of this or whatever. I just put the contents. But these are my top. If I was stranded on a deserted island and I could only take, 15 MediHerb products, this would be it. Next. Herbal throat spray, there it is. That's the fastest acting out of everything. Goes on your skin, absorbs right in. Because remember, what are the 4 ways into your body? Eat it, absorb it, inhale it, or inject it. Those are the only ways stuff can get into your body. Okay, and wormwood complex. Well, you need some of that too to go with the black cumin seed. Oh, the comet. You simply cannot eliminate exposure. So here's the summary. Here's it. Here's all of it in the last. This is it, with the last website to go to, Jonathan. So here's what you have to know. So this is the entire everything in a summary. You simply cannot eliminate exposure to all environmental toxins. However, with what you learn here, you can greatly limit exposure while flushing out what has been previously stored. How do we do that? Foot spa, sauna, pulse, nutrition, all of it. The field of psychoneuroimmunology, big word for thoughts, brain, immune system, so you can think your brain to run your immune system, basically, is just beginning to recognize the connection between emotions and physical maladies, such as allergies and immune compromise. So a lot of people that, I always get colds, I always get flus, I also get infections and cancers. Your brain, your thoughts control your health. Kind of like the Bible says, your words, you control your words and your words control your life, right? Microorganisms have a tendency to hibernate along the spine, so when the immune system is compromised, pathogens manifest into symptoms of illness. How do we fix that? Chiropractic. We do percussion, we do laser, we do pulse, we do everything. Pfft, right here. There's nothing that walks through the door we can't fix, as long as you got the faith. Next. Last but not least, diffusion of essential oils is one of the best ways to prevent the spread of airborne pathogens and other poisons. So if you've got mushroom clouds going off in the back, and you've got all this crazy, chemicals getting dropped and stuff like that. I'm running my diffusers 24/7 all day, and we've got air units that you can know about if you'd like. You can ask us. Air filter units, plants and animals versus plant-based foods made in a plant. Stay away from these. Plant-based, go with plants and animals. Plant-based is a lie. And remember, let us help you. One Clydesdale, you can pull 8,000 pounds. When you put 2 of them together, harnessed side by side, the 2 can pull 24,000 pounds. So you got 2 people that can pull 3 times the weight, right? Oh, and go back to the last, what did I miss? What was the last? Oh, no. No, that's it. Yeah, so let us help you. That's it. Yeah, now go to the thing. This is the last thing I want to show you. This is another little treat. I showed somebody this recently, and I thought, why don't I tell everybody this? Because this will save a lot of time. eforms.com. If you're still worried, and if you have not done this yet, you need to do a power of attorney, or you need to do a living will. This is the best thing I found, because that way you can scratch this off your list. You don't have to go talk to an attorney. You don't have to get stuck in the system. You don't have to pay them a bunch of money. You do it yourself. What do? Go to business, personal, real estate, go to personal. And you can do an advanced medical directive, which is like, I think when you're in a nursing home or you're on your last legs. Or you can go, oh, no. Or you can do a last will and testament. You can do a living will. You can do power of attorney right there. Click on power of attorney, and I'll show you. Power of attorney, go to the state, and you can, these are all free. This is great. This is the best thing ever. Go to Tennessee, and it'll tell you, allows a person to choose a representative to substitute for them and act in their place for many types of situations. A person giving the power, the principal, can choose the rights to hand over to their representative, the agent, ranging from medical decision-making to the handling of their financial affairs. The designation may last for a limited period or during the lifetime of the principal. To make any power of attorney document valid, it must be signed in accordance with state law. Scroll down. What's the state law? I think it was here. Was this you I showed? Yes. Okay. Scroll down. Where are the states? Where are the states? I forget. Go back. Scroll down right here. Yeah. Because go back. I'm sorry. I forget where this was. Go back to personal and go to living will. Where was this? Must be signed in accordance with state law. Now, all of these are the same. Go to Tennessee right here. I think this is it. Oh, wait. Yeah. Go there. Go to Tennessee. They have a chart. And it tells you by state. Signing requirements. Go back to up. Signing requirements for Tennessee are 2 witnesses or a notary public. That's what I want you to see. You can do your living will. You can do your power of attorney. You can do, and all these other things that are listed under business, personal, real estate. You can do all these documents on your own with no lawyer involved. And in the state of Tennessee, all you need is 2 witnesses to sign it. Or if you don't have 2 friends, you can go have a notary public sign it and stamp it, and it's legal. You don't have to talk to lawyers. You don't have to get involved in the system. So if you really are still worried about wondering what's going to happen, blah, 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 this will at least give you some peace of mind. You've got these documents, boom. You can do your medical directive or what we call your power of attorney so that you can list right on there, no transfusions, no vaccines, boom, boom, boom. You've got in the state of Tennessee, it's legal. You got 2 witnesses. You sign that, it's legal, you're good. If you have to go to the hospital or something like that, you've got all that stuff right there on your phone nowadays. You can carry it right on your phone. And boom, it says right here, here's his wishes. Here's no transfusions, no injections, no blood labs, no MRIs, no CAT scans, no radio contrast. You just list it off. I will not do this, 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 and this. Does that help anybody? This is massive. There used to be stuff like this it used to be, yeah. People, anybody got an idea? You go do a power of attorney with a lawyer, you're talking, they're not opening the door for you for less than $3,000, are they? $5,000?
I just paid $1,000 to get my language from Michigan to Tennessee.
Isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? When you're dealing with all the Jesuits, isn't that great? So you can print this for the state of Tennessee, and boom, it's free. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to get involved. Years ago, I looked into doing this, and there were just paid websites where you had to pay something. So I found this. We discovered this probably 6 or 8 months ago, and I was just like, wow, this is great. I never even knew this existed. And it tells you right on there. If you punch around, it'll show you like the state statutes for each state. Tennessee. Most of the states are 2 witnesses. Some of them you have to have a notary public or both. But just know that that's out there. eforms.com. Go there, poke around on that. It's wonderfully organized. I don't know who put this thing together, but most of it's free, but you can do a paid thing. Like if you're running a business and you're doing these forums all the time, they do have paid parts of it. I'm done. Anything else?
Hey.
Wow, I got through that a lot faster than I thought I was going to. Any questions? Problems, thoughts, cries of outrage?
What?
Any jokes, riddles?
I have a question.
Get it on, yeah, we're good. Yeah, go ahead. You have a question?
Yes. What would ever
call for a transfusion?
They do them all the time for no reason.
But, I mean, for what real reason would?
If you lost a buttload of blood, they would tell you massive trauma. If you lost a buttload of blood, they would tell you transfusion, transfusion. But man, you're the human body. You can lose half your blood and you still be okay. They will just preach fear to you, like, oh, if we don't get enough blood in you. If your body goes into trauma, your body can lose almost half of your blood. I mean, it's a massive amount. Your body has what, 10 quarts? It's like a gallon and a half, 2 gallons. What is that? 10 quarts? What is that? 2 gallons? I hate quarts. I'm a metric guy. 4, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10, 2.5 gallons, right? 2.5 gallons. That's a buttload of, I mean, that's think about a jug of milk. 2.5 of those. If I'm doing my math right, yeah, so 2.5 of those. Your body can lose half of that. Almost half that. But they are going to scare people and make them think that your body, oh, your body can't catch up. Your body can't catch up. Me, I'm just to the point where I've seen so much now, and I've worked in hospitals. I've seen emergency stuff. I've done healthcare. I've done, non-ambulatory stuff. I just don't believe any of it. I don't believe it. So why would they? Many reasons, but none of them, hardly any of them would be a real reason, honestly. They're going to scare the crap out of you to get you to sign off on it. And that goes with the chemo, that goes with the radiation, that goes with all the stuff. Am I right? I mean, half the stuff, if I were to talk to my imaging people that come in here, and I'd say, how much of your imaging that you do is completely uncalled for? I mean, they'd say, most of them, they'd say anywhere between 50 and 90% of it. It's completely worthless. I mean, I can take a tuning fork and crack that thing and hold it on your bone, and I'll know in about a nanosecond if your bone is broken. That's the old school way of determining if somebody's got a broken bone, by the way. You take a tuning fork and it's vibrating, and you hold it on a broken bone. How'd you learn this? Read old books. Don't look on Google. You hold it on the bone, and if they come off the table and they start having a pain reflex, you know the periosteum of the bone is broken. So that periosteum is like you take a chicken apart, and it's that see-through film on the bone that you can't even see unless you break the bone, and then it's like that see-through film that just wiggles. That's your periosteum. So the periosteum is broken, and those nerves embedded in the periosteum are going to light up because you've got a vibratory stimulus going into the bone. So we just saved you $5,000 just on an MRI or a CAT scan, because that's the first thing they're going to do. So you tell me, is most of the stuff necessary? Nope. 35 years of nursing. I've got somebody who's a nurse 52 years, and she would say the same thing. Yep. That's healthcare. That's where we are. It's an absolute dumpster fire.
Praise the Lord.
But trauma, and if you have a bone marrow problem, or if if they're telling you that, oh yeah, your bones are screwed and your body can't make blood, but trauma is the big one.
It's the pharmaceuticals and the insurance companies driving the truck.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. And all the transfusions and all the putting somebody else's, proteins into your body is going to lead to all those liver problems that we just, the cirrhosis and the hepatitis and the stuff. That's where people get those diseases. That's the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is a new epidemic. We have another epidemic number 20 of healthcare, right? Is everybody has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. It's the new thing. Look around, you'll hear it.
A lot of people with it.
Yep, absolutely.
That's what
Yep.
they told Terry just the other day.
Who did what now?
Our neighbor, they just told her that the other day.
Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Yeah, because she probably said, well, they probably said, well, it looks like a cirrhotic liver. And she said, well, I've never had a drink in my life. So they go, well, it's non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That's what it is. By the way, what does syndrome mean in medicine?
We don't know.
We don't know what causes it. So
It's a fancy word for we don't know.
we don't know. That's in the medical textbooks. Syndrome means we don't know. So whenever you hear the word syndrome after something, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia syndrome, Reye's syndrome, which Reye's syndrome went away years ago. They turned that into autism. That's what that is. And so Reye's syndrome back in the day was don't give a kid aspirin. And now what's in the shots? Acetylsalicylic acid, which is what? Aspirin. So they're giving the kids autism, but they don't call it Reye's syndrome anymore. They just call it autism or autism spectrum disorder. So that's what that is. So welcome to the where we change words around and with word magic, you know. You like that word magic? Jonathan, thank you, man. You've been with us since number 98. How about that? I've tried to run you off.
I didn't even get a century party because we didn't realize.
Oh, dude, we didn't even know it. We'll do it soon. We'll do it soon. But man,
He's seen enough of them to teach them.
oh, he could teach him. I'm sure he just lays awake at night on Monday nights going, shut up, Spradlin.
I've heard this before.
Yeah, I've heard this a million times. But every time there's something new, man, right? Every time you come in here, it's never boring, is it? That's right. That's right. All right. We're signing off. We love you all. Oh, and by the way, November 11th, wellness workshop here. It's probably going to be the 21 predictions of Royal Lee. You're not going to want to miss this because you're going to read this stuff that he predicted 90 years ago, and you're going to go, I saw that in a newspaper headline yesterday. And you're just going to go down, 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 and you're going to go, who is this Royal Lee dude, and why is Spradlin always talking about him? So November 11th, the 21 predictions of Royal Lee. We got a Bitcoin Remnant meeting on December 7th, and that's just the first Saturday of each month. We always do a Bitcoin Remnant meeting. And everybody's welcome from the community. You don't have to be a patient, whatever. Just come with your questions. We'll teach you. We'll show you. We'll show you how to get your money out of the banks. We'll show you how to have value that goes up instead of dollars that go down. Tracy, you've been coming for months. You've come before. You're there every month. I love it. And then December 9th is our last wellness workshop for the year of 2024. But November 11th may or may not happen, depending on if we're in a civil war or not. I might be marching to Gettysburg. I'm not sure. But November 11th and December 9th for the wellness workshops. I'm Dr. Brett Spradlin. We're signing off. Thank you very much.